An island for all. I can add attributes to everything. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 301 News of the Black Rock Dwarves. In 5 days, the island has changed from being scattered at first to becoming cohesive and efficient. Especially after the Hope will be vigorously promoted and the 8 cardinals have been confirmed, the cohesion has reached an unprecedented peak. What makes Sube most gratified is that there are signs of mutual acceptance between the Aborigines and the Dark Race. The main reason is that the Black Elves were so powerful this time that they won the seats of 2 cardinals in one breath, so that the Aborigines could see their faith and loyalty. If there is a common topic, then there is room for communication. Overall, the situation on the island is steadily improving. Sube is very pleased that his efforts finally paid off. In 5 days, the island also sailed to the entrance of the Dajing River. Looking back at the boundless super island, Sube was filled with emotion. Next time, it will be when he integrates this super island. He couldn't leave Dakaya here regardless. To this end, continued efforts are required. While thinking about it, the Mermaid Patrol sent a report and found several Slave 773 merchants on the shore at the entrance. Sube's heart skipped a beat. Maybe Kunpai and the others have returned. It has been more than half a month since the last farewell, and I don't know if they have found the news of the Black Rock Dwarf as promised. Although there were nearly 2,000 dwarves on Sube's island, he would not dislike too many. Since the addition of dwarves, his current equipment business is booming. The apprentice island owner was cut off and screamed. Massive materials gathered on the island to further enhance his strength. In particular, the increase in the supernatural fruit has led to a linear increase in the number of Sube's supernatural forces. With the Ring of Domination, Sube returned to Blue Star and brought back 500 power users directly to clear the Blue Star Company's accumulation during this period of time. These new power users, the power potions they use, are all provided by the apprentice island owners. The training cost of Sube is close to 0. Even cultivating supernatural powers not only does not cost money, but also makes money. Among the 500 new power users, there are some potion apprentices and magic pattern apprentices. All can bring huge profits. Especially the Mageweave apprentice. Right now, the best-selling item in Sube's hands is the Mageweave scroll. This thing is different from the magical potion, which is permanently effective. It can be said to be a lifetime investment. No matter how expensive it is, someone will pay for it. Of course, Sube would not be polite, cut the leaks and made the apprentice island owners call out blackhearts. The development of the island is inseparable from various professionals. Sube was very concerned about the information about the Black Rock Dwarves. Hope this time Kunpai can bring good news. While thinking about it, Sube arrived at the shore and saw Kunpai and several other slave traders. The previous goblin Sark and Lhag were not among them. But their subordinates appeared in the distance. All became Kunpai's subordinates. Sube knew it well and didn't break it. Fighting among slave traders is normal. The most effective way to exclude competitors is to directly hack them to death. High-end business battles often only require the simplest way. Sube didn't care about these trivial matters, he only looked at the results. Kunpai, long time no see, I hope you have brought good news. 35 Sube approached to greet each other. Kunpai immediately had a glorious face, and his waist was straight. Speaking of which, Kunpai is also not easy. His upper peak is a black elf, and he belongs to the faction of the new king. As a result, the army sent by the new king was blown up by Sube, and even the new commander was gone. Kunpai still insisted on doing business. What kind of spirit is this? It is admirable. Is it because he didn't receive the news, or is there something else hidden? The latter is more likely. If Sube guessed right, Kunpai's ascending peak is not the same as Hoka''s. While thinking about it, Kunpai and other slave traders stepped forward to greet him. The battle in the Wood Elves' territory, they already know the result. Naturally, he knew that the one in front of him was a werewolf who had killed 2 black elves. They dare not have any additional ideas. The other party pinches them to death. and only needs one finger. After the greeting, Kunpai said, "Your Excellency, the black rock dwarf you asked us to find before, we have found it." "Oh?" Subei asked with a smile. "How many people have they been caught?" Kunpai's expression was slightly embarrassed, and he faltered and said, "Yes, we are catching. But there are more than 2,000 opponents, and we will not be able to attack for a while." "More than 2,000 black rock dwarves?" Subei's eyes lit up and asked, "Where are they?" "Not far away." Kunpai took out a map from his arms, pointed to a certain sea area next to the super island, and said, "There is a very hidden island here, and the black rock dwarf is there. That island is surrounded by a special magnetic field, and it's hard for outsiders to find it," Kunbi explained. Subei nodded. "So the problem now is that your subordinates can't kill them and capture the black rock dwarves back?" Kunpai couldn't take it anymore. "Although this is the case, don't say it so bluntly, save face." Subei asked, "What level is the opponent's highest?" Kunpai immediately said, "Platinum is high." It's no wonder that Kunpai and the others have suffered a loss. Blackstone dwarves with high platinum levels are indeed very troublesome. To be honest, Kunpai and the others were not killed, they were all lucky. After pondering for a moment, Subei then asked, "What is the size of the island, and does it have any mineral veins?" Kunpai said truthfully, "It's about 15 square kilometers. If there are ore veins, there should be. Otherwise, how do those black rock dwarves build equipment?" Subei nodded, propped his chin and started to think. He has an idea. If there are only black rock dwarves, just grab them. But since there are ore veins, you can't miss it. Simply drive over the island, and take the black rock dwarves to the island with the ore veins, all in the bag. Thinking of this, Subei said decisively, "Lead the way, I will do it myself." Kunpai rubbed his hands together and said, "It's about the cost." Subei waved his hand boldly, "All the equipment in the black rock dwarf warehouse is for you." 55 Generosity of others. Subei learns without a teacher. The equipment created by the black rock dwarves is valuable, but it is not worth mentioning compared to the income that will be obtained. And if he eats meat, he has to let others drink soup, so that he can do business for a longer time. For Kunpai and others, they just picked up a ready-made one in the past. Even so, it's not a loss. The two sides reached an agreement and began to move forward. Kunpai was on his own boat, looking at the majestic island behind him, secretly frightened. The development speed of this human island owner is really too fast. This year's newcomers have come to the island world, and they haven't even arrived in the second month. This Lord Subei possesses such terrifying strength. It is unimaginable. How exactly did he do it? Although Kunpai couldn't see the situation on the main island, just watching the daily drills of the 6 fortress islands made him feel palpitations. Too strong. The fighters on the island are really too strong. Kunpai is the top gold, but he knows that he has no room for resistance against the top gold under Subei, and he will be instantly killed. This is where Kunbi can't figure it out. If it is the mermaid, wood elves, black elves, and other strong clans, that's fine. How can a mermaid, such a half-hearted person, make him feel this way too? 5. Is this reasonable? No matter how bad the sheephead people are, they are still much stronger than the shark people. As a result, Kunpai felt that he had no chance of winning. This made it a little difficult for him to accept. But on second thought, this ruthless man who beheaded 2 Zinya-level powerhouses, his subordinates are definitely not far behind. Not only Kunpai, but also several other slave traders felt the same way. They have been through great storms for so many years. But I still can't understand the speed of Subei's development. It's no exaggeration to say it's a miracle. After a day and a night of sailing, Subei saw the island of the black rock dwarves. Kunpai and the others scattered beside him. Just as he was about to say that the black rock dwarfs were powerful, they saw Subei killing Shanghai Island alone. Then Shiren walked back. Behind him was the black rock dwarf who had made Kunpai and the others suffer enough. More than 2,000 blackstone dwarves, all surrendered. Kunbi was dumbfounded. What kind of operation is this? Do you dare to be a little more outrageous? Chapter 302. The second monthly Rookie King Assessment. No matter how much Kunpai thinks, The facts are in front of you. BlackRock dwarves just voted. Such a gap made Kunpai somewhat unacceptable. They had been beaten to death here before, but Subei's shot ended the fight in 2 minutes. And it is not a superficial surrender. These BlackRock dwarves are completely loyal, which cannot be faked. But soon, Kunpai calmed down. What he does with these things, what he has to do now is to clear the warehouse of the BlackRock dwarves and get the equipment. The easier the battle, the more at ease he can collect the reward. Several slave traders gathered around and congratulated Subei. "Your Majesty, Subei's strength is admirable." Subei smiled and said casually, "I didn't do anything, I just convinced people with virtue." The BlackRock dwarf leader behind him nodded in agreement. Kunpai and other slave merchants' eyes twitched. "Can you find a credible reason to convince people with virtue? Then you just passed by with a knife." Subei changed the subject and said, "I will send someone to take you to the warehouse, and if you have any equipment to distribute, I will not care." 17. Immediately assigned several BlackRock dwarves to lead the way. And most of the BlackRock dwarves first gathered at the edge of the island. Kunbi and the others couldn't hold back any longer, and they rushed to the warehouse with their subordinates and started to move things. Subei didn't care, but asked Zayden, the leader of the BlackRock dwarves, about the island situation. Zayden replied, "My lord, under this island of ours is a sarin iron ore, which is considered a medium-sized ore vein and can mine thousands of tons. 99 sarin iron ore is also a metal with excellent properties. It has a strong heat dissipation capacity and can stably maintain its own temperature. As an accessory, it can be added to the barrel of the energy gun to improve the stability. Thousands of tons of sarin iron ore are invaluable. This is more valuable than a warehouse of equipment sent out." Subei speculated that if Kunpi and the others knew that there was sarin iron ore here, they would not be in a hurry to bring the news to him. But now, it's cheaper for him. But on the other hand, Kunpai's current choice is also correct. With the cessation of the war on the super island, the power of the Dark Tribe will be greatly reduced, and the Aborigines will dominate the super island again. The area where the BlackRock dwarves are located will be discovered sooner or later. At that time, what Kunpai and the others will face may be the main force of the Wood Elves. No fight at all. It's better to take advantage of it first. While thinking about it, Kunpai and the others returned with a full load of smiles. BlackRock dwarves are members of the Dark race, but they also have the common characteristics of dwarves. That is to like to strike iron. The equipment in the warehouse is almost full. Kunpai and several people calculated and found that it was much more cost-effective than reselling the BlackRock dwarves, and the little dissatisfaction in their hearts had long since disappeared. The most important thing is that in this battle, they didn't pay at all, they picked it up for nothing. Kunpai tentatively asked, "Lord Subei, if other islands were discovered in the nearby waters?" Subei took over immediately. "Information is priceless." Kunpai immediately understood, nodded again and said, "Don't worry, Your Excellency, I will send someone to continue to look for it, but how should I contact you in the future?" Subei replied, "If you look for me in the ocean current area between the Wood Elves and the Mermaids, you will definitely find me." Kunbi understands. When the equipment is in hand, Kunpai and the others are ready to leave. They had been looking for the BlackRock dwarves before, and they had no chance to go to the super island to capture prisoners. Can't miss it now. Subei also agreed with Kunpai and the others that he would accept as long as there were still valuable prisoners willing to ship to his island, then welcome at any time. Kunpai and others also said that selling to anyone is the same, as long as there is a profit. Immediately, the fleet of Kunpai and his party left. Subei controls the approach of the island. On this new island, he was ready to merge into the fourth fortress at the rear where the trap camp was located. Just let the BlackRock dwarves build equipment for the trap camp. In addition, the fourth island is an extension of the main island, which is more convenient and quick to integrate. It can also move the position of the ore vein during the fusion process to make it easier to mine. The fusion process continued for a day and a night. The new fourth fortress, in terms of size, is already more than twice the size of the other fortress islands, and it is extremely vast. Perfect for setting up a new forge. It can also add propulsion turbofans underwater to help the island move. After the renovation, the number 1 fortress will be responsible for the auxiliary power of the first 3 fortress islands. The 4th fortress is the last 3. The division of labor is cleared. After the matter was settled, Subei chose a direction and headed towards the mermaid territory. It's time to solve Claudia's demonic troubles. The island sailed smoothly and did not encounter any enemies. The sea area has basically returned to peace. After sailing for a few days, the selection of the second monthly Rookie King also arrived as scheduled. Without the slightest surprise, Subei was ranked number 1 with an island rating of 45,000 stars. Congratulations to the island owner, Subei, for becoming the new king of the month and rewarding gold-level treasure chests for encouragement. Congratulations to the island owner, Subei, for becoming the new king of the month and rewarding gold-level treasure chests for encouragement. Congratulations to the island owner, Subei, for becoming the new king of the month and rewarding gold-level treasure chests for encouragement. The familiar notification sounded, and the gold-level treasure chest appeared in front of him. Open it up and take a look. It is the familiar blood-spirit fruit tree seed. And the number is still 3. This reward is actually pretty good. Subei has already maxed out the use limit of blood-spirit fruit, but his subordinates can still use it. Especially Dulingsun and Menayu. Subei couldn't watch them grow old and pass away. When a new blood-spirit fruit matures, the 3 will be arranged first. The blood spirit potion is also not to be missed. The following fruit of life, the same is true. For his own people, Subei is 773 never stingy. The biggest difference between the second monthly Rookie King's assessment and the previous one is that the exchange of the trading center will be opened simultaneously. There is also a chat area, which will also open up a new part outside the newcomer chat area to connect with the official island owner. The whole picture of the island world can be regarded as a preliminary display in front of the trainee island owners. This will bring new opportunities as well as new challenges. The good thing is that Subei's sales market is wider. He recently discovered that some of the trainee island owners who have been cut are weak and unable to squeeze more oil and water. At this time, the trading center was opened, and the market expanded more than 100 times. It is wonderful to be able to harvest their wealth. The only thing Subei has to worry about is that his production won't keep up. In the newcomer chat area, trainee island owners are talking about this. In the second month, the trading center and the chat area communicated with each other, which they all knew. The 100 years of discovering the island world have all come this way. Many island owners in the lighthouse country expressed their dissatisfaction with Subei, and even clamored to unite with senior island owners to break Subei's island. For these island owners, Subei directly blacked out. Don't think about buying half a bottle of potion or half a magic scroll from him in the future. Before Subei blocked everyone, news of Shen Qingling came. We have received news that the Lighthouse Nation is planning a joint operation against you. Chapter 303 The island owner of the Lighthouse Country came to encircle and suppress. Subei was not surprised at all when he received the news from Shen Qingling. After the war on the Super Island, Subei returned to Blue Star and collected Blue Star's movements during this time. Now Blue Star, the most talked about thing is that Subei killed thousands of lighthouse powers. This caused a stir at Blue Star. At first, everyone was still wondering, how could Subei be so bold? But as more information came out, the outside world also knew the whole process. Those lighthouse powers are completely self-defeating. However, the lighthouse state has no intention of repenting, and instead continues to put pressure on the special team to seek the coordinates of Subei's island. In this regard, the special response team's response is very simple. They also didn't know where Subei was. Sitting on a mobile island, Subei can go wherever he wants. Moreover, he is not a member of the Special Affairs Team and is not under the jurisdiction of the Special Affairs Team. A set of punches is impeccable. It is said that the representative of the Lighthouse Country was so angry that his face turned green. Still can't pick a thorn. The Lighthouse State could not find Subei, so it simply vented its anger at his company and announced sanctions against Subei's company. But here's the problem: Subei's company is all self-produced and has no plans to expand now. The market in Xiang and the surrounding cities has not been digested, so how can you pay attention to the outside world? The lighthouse state wanted to impose sanctions, but was stunned to find a suitable entry point. Sanctioning raw materials? That is the output of the island world. If you want to punish, first find Subei's island. This is an endless loop. As long as the island of Subei can be found, the lighthouse country will not be so jumpy. From another angle, sanction sales channels? Nor is it realistic. The company under the name of Subei, the products are so popular that they are sold out even if they can't even ship out of Xiang. What kind of punishment is this? But the lighthouse state still bite the bullet and announce sanctions. In any case, at least get the momentum out. The last time Subei returned to Blue Star with the ability user, he heard Zheng Wen report on this matter. He didn't care at all. Just a jumping clown. At this time, when I heard Shen Qingling's re-examination of the old story, I immediately knew that the lighthouse country had started to do things again. Restraining his mind, Subei asked, "What's the situation now?" Shen Qingling replied, "There are several senior island owners who are urging the island to move, preparing to besiege your island." Subei: "Why now? My position should be more clear. They are coming. Why not come earlier?" Shen Qingling: "Because your island rating has skyrocketed again. The lighthouse country wants to kill you." Subei nodded secretly. "This reason is quite appropriate. How to make sure you don't fall behind in the competition? Just kill your competitors." Subei's momentum is too strong, and even the Dragon Kingdom has gained a lot, and the Lighthouse Kingdom is worried that its status will be impacted. Especially in the previous battle, Subei did not hesitate to kill thousands of lighthouse powers. If it is another island owner, they may say hello in advance and release water. But Subei was not, and greeted him directly with an energy cannon. Those thousands of power users were stunned that they couldn't even take back their complete corpses. How can the senior island owner behind them bear it? On the one hand, let the lighthouse country put pressure on it. At the same time, unite and prepare to eliminate Subei's island and solve the problem from the root. Subei is not surprised by this trick of lighthouse country. What needs to be determined now is how many troops the opponent has, and whether there are any dark races involved. Subei sent the question to Shen Qingling. Shen Qingling replied, "What is certain is that there are at least 6 senior island masters, with a total of more than 20,000 power users, and some servants of the dark race." 5 Subei replied, I look up to me. 35 Shen Qingling, "Do you need support?" Subei: "No, I can stand it." To be honest, Subei couldn't figure out how the island owner of the lighthouse country dared to ask him to do something. Don't they know that the commander of the Black Elf was hacked to death by him just now? And still too. After thinking for a while, Subei roughly guessed the reason. The defeated Black Elf army lied about the military situation. Although Subei captured many Black Elf captives, some escaped. The coach died in battle. This is a huge culpability. If the coach is hacked to death by a platinum human, the culpability is even greater. In order to avoid being killed by the new king, the defeated army must attribute the cause of Hokia's death to the Wood Elf Queen. On the other hand, even if the new Black Elf King knows the truth, he cannot publicize it. Being defeated by the Wood Elf Queen is understandable. But if news of Hokia's being killed by Subei spreads among the Black Elves, the new king estimated that he had to weigh whether he could sit firmly. And the Black Elves have the same caliber to the outside world, so they turned the lighthouse country's island owner into a pit. They felt that Subei left the Wood Elf super island and returned to the sea as a once-in-a-lifetime hunting opportunity. Subei gathered his thoughts. The truth should be pretty much what he guessed. And this also gave him the opportunity to defeat the enemy. The 6 senior island owners of the lighthouse country, right? They will never come back. After chatting with Shen Qingling, Subei came to the port. 4 warships are moored in the port. The previously recovered warships have been repaired and can be put into use. Next, The dwarves who repair the battleship will make every effort to build attack ships and improve the fleet configuration. Subei's vision was to divide the 4 warships into 2 fleets. Each fleet is equipped with 10 attack ships. Wait until these ships are complete before trying to build the aircraft carrier. However, in this battle, there are no more ships to be seen. But 4 battleships, plus the energy cannons on the fortress island. It has already made the island owner of the lighthouse country know what cruelty is. Exciting to think about. Thanks to Heslit's efforts, the large energy cannon could be forged in the afternoon. Totally up to the fight. With 2 large energy cannons in hand, the 20,000 abilities of the lighthouse nation were simply here to deliver food. Collecting his thoughts, Subei ordered the fleet to leave the port for testing. The 4 warships have initially completed armor replacement, and their protection capabilities have been greatly improved. The small energy bombarded it, but there was no response at all. Even the frontal bombardment of the medium-sized energy cannon, Zhao, will absorb more than 70% of its power. The remaining damage was not enough to pose a lethal threat to the crew gunner. As for the large energy cannon, Subei was reluctant to test. If this is broken, blood will be lost. After some testing, the result was perfect. All data met expectations. The port cheered. The battleship repair work has been successfully completed. With the battleship, the next issue is crew matching. After thinking for a while, Subei decided to give 2 ships to the Black Hells, and the remaining 2 ships to the Mermaid and the Merman. Just like this, the number of mermaid patrols has shrunk again. Subei finds Claudia's heart more and more urgently. I have to talk to the Queen and ask someone to come over. However, before Subei arrives in the mermaid territory, he first encounters the siege of the island owner of the lighthouse country. 7 drifting islands were attacked from both sides. The energy cannons roared, and the war started again. Jin, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 304. Come and lose quickly. The 7 senior island owners of the lighthouse country, their islands are all more than 30 square kilometers in area, which is quite vast. They came in a formation of 3 from the left and 4 from the right, intending to go down in one fight. From Subei's point of view, you can see quite a few firing turrets. With the opponent's background, it is also possible to arrange energy cannons. But the quantity and quality are far worse than Subei's side. The gunners under his command have fired 2 rounds, and the island owner of the lighthouse country has not yet entered the range of the energy cannon, so he can only advance under the fire. Seeing this situation, Subei directly dispatched all 4 battleships, circled behind the opponent, and sent out the farthest output. At the same time, the chat area was also boiling. After the previous second monthly Rokiking assessment, the data exchange between the apprentice island owner and the official island owner, sharing the trading center and chat area. Just before the war, there is a lighthouse island owner screaming that Subei will pay the price. Don't think about it, it must be one of the 7 senior island owners who came. Lighthouse country. Old John, what a new king. It's all bullshit. Today is your death date. Lighthouse country, Johnny, yes, our coalition forces have discovered the location of Subei. Then please enjoy the art of war. Video file. In the video, a large number of power users lined up neatly, with extraordinary momentum. As soon as the camera is turned, it can be clearly seen that there are 2 other moving islands on the left and right sides. Then the shooting angle is zoomed out. On the sea in the distance, there is a lonely island. Obviously, that's Subei's island. In fact, the total area of Subei's islands is nearly 100 square kilometers, larger than any of the islands of these veteran island owners. But because of the shooting distance, it is particularly weak. This scene immediately made 780, the owner of the lighthouse country, who did not know the truth, applaud. In particular, the apprentice island owner shouted that Subei would die today. The Dragon Country island master must not be used to it and scolded directly. Subei felt the need to expand his influence to open up a wider market, and spoke decisively in the public chat area. Dragon Kingdom Subei, thanks to the lighthouse country for the island, I will accept it. As soon as this statement came out, it immediately caused a resounding response. The island owner of Longo naturally applauded. The confidence and calmness contained in these words can be felt thousands of miles away. The Lighthouse Kingdom and their little brother were very upset. Subei didn't even bother to care about them, so he closed the chat area and started attacking. Then there is the previous scene. Before the lighthouse energy cannons fired, Subei fired 2 salvos first. Now Subei has 6 fortress islands, and no matter which angle the enemy comes from, they will be warmly welcomed. The 7 island owners of the lighthouse country have personally experienced what the firepower gap is. The island owner named Old John yelled at his island, "Shit, why is the energy cannon on the opposite side so far away?" Johnny next door was also confused. He just saw clearly that his 3 forts were destroyed in the war, and he almost fainted with heartache. And what made him even more heartbroken was yet to come. Along with the roar of the large energy cannon, the power user troops gathered by Johnny suffered a devastating blow. More than 3,000 ability users, none of them remained, and instantly vanished into ashes. Bhcf puff. Johnny spat out a mouthful of old blood, his face pale. It's over, it's over. Even if Subei's island is breached this time, he can't make up for his loss. Without powers, how to ensure their right to speak? But to Johnny's relief, the Old John next door was also shot. Although the supernatural beings were not completely destroyed, they were also killed and injured heavily. While gloating, Johnny felt something was wrong. There are actually 2 large energy cannons on the opposite side. Johnny, Old John, and another island owner attacked from the left. On the other side, there are 4 senior island owners united. The firepower they suffered was not weak. Subei didn't greet them with a large energy cannon, but a medium energy cannon would suffice. Every second, a torrent of energy erupted on their island, slashing the defense surface. As soon as the fight started, these island owners were reeling in their hearts. The fire on the other side was too strong. The 4 communicated privately and prepared to run away. They have already fulfilled the demands of the White House and have come to encircle Subei. However, the other party's firepower is too fierce, they can't stand it. Old John and Johnny were not saved, but they were still saved. After the 4 communicated rapidly, they controlled the island to slow down, and then retreated directly. This change was naturally seen by Old John and the others, who sent messages to each other, only to find that they had been blocked. Old John was so angry that he roared in the chat area, accusing his teammates of being unsatisfactory. Lighthouse Country Old John, you cowards who are running away, how can the Lighthouse Country have cowards like you? There was an uproar in the chat area. 7 senior island owners besieged Subei, and they were blown up? Outrageous. Many island owners of the Lighthouse Country stood up and asked the other 4 to return to the battlefield to defend the glory of the Lighthouse Country. The 4 senior island owners pretended not to see it. Disgrace is temporary, benefits are eternal. What is the benefit of putting your own island in it? Blood loss. Whoever likes to go, they don't go anyway. The 4 senior island owners evacuated without looking back. Subei immediately changed his tactics and dispatched battleships to besiege the remaining 3 drifting islands. The enemy attacked from both sides, and he could not eat them all. Being able to swallow 3 islands is already worth the fare. On the other side, the 3 of Old John were still doing their last dying struggles, but to no avail. Subei drove the island directly in front of them and washed the ground with energy cannons. Old John made a ruthless charge and charged with the remaining power users. He himself has high-level platinum strength, and he has also obtained professional inheritance, which can be said to be quite powerful. It's a pity that it was instantly killed by Winnie's water arrow, and there is no suspense. The power gap is too great. Johnny, who was half-charged, turned back to the island, sold his assets urgently, and then fled back to Blue Star with the money, leaving only the empty island. His strength is not as good as that of Old John, and he will only die faster when he goes up. As for the last island owner, it was more straightforward. Surrounded by 4 warships and bombarded for several rounds, he ran away. However, The loss of losing the identity of the island owner cannot be made up by selling assets. What's the use of talking about it now? He can only blame himself for believing the White House is nonsense, and he actually wanted to fight the autumn wind. In the chat area, the wind has changed. In a very short time, Sube scared off 4 island owners and abolished the other 3, which shocked the senior island owners. It's also too fast. Sube, however, ignored the heated discussions outside. Old John's 3 islands have a total area of more than 100 square kilometers. Of course, the main assets were transferred and sold. But the battle ended too quickly, and there was still a lot left. Especially Old John's Island, where the main assets are all located. A small part of it was affected by artillery fire, and it was harmless. The overall value is higher than the other 2 islands combined. It took 2 days to integrate the 3 islands. No way, the total area is too large. If it weren't for the spirit of the island, if Sube could control the fusion himself, the time would have been more than doubled. But the benefits are also obvious. The 3 islands are integrated, and the total area is directly increased by 100 square kilometers. With so much area, Sube reserved 40 square kilometers for the main island, and the rest is divided equally among the 6 fortress islands. During this period, the White House and the special team were also fighting a war of words. The Lighthouse Nation demanded that Sube be handed over to them for trial. The special team's response was the same. They can't find Sube and don't know where he is. Sube didn't pay much attention to the matter of Blue Star, but the number of supernatural fruits and supernatural potions delivered to the company quadrupled directly. Sube wants to continue to cultivate supernatural beings. This is the fastest way to add combatants. The ability users of other island owners may not be very good, but his subordinates do not have this problem at all. Equipment, potions, magic patterns, and occupational inheritance that may be refreshed. A variety of factors are superimposed, and although the combat power of the ability user does not reach the level of the strong family, it is also at a medium level. The most important thing is that it is easy to shake people. In addition to Zai, there are also branch offices in surrounding cities, all of which are rapidly cultivating abilities, and every once in a while, the total number will double. During the fusion of the 3 islands, Sube returned to Blue Star again and brought back 1,000 psychics again. The Ring of Dominance is very powerful. Among these 1,000 power users, many of them have inherited the professional inheritance of potion apprentices and magic pattern apprentices, and further expanded the alchemy room and drawing room. Now, both the output of the potion and the magic pattern scroll are more than twice as high as before. With the exchange of trading centers, massive resources are gathered in the hands of Sube. And these resources further enhance the island's heritage. Chapter 305 Goodbye Queen Claudia. Sube's island rating has quietly soared to 55,000 stars. When breaking through 50,000 stars, he also received a new award from the island world, and the growth rate of plants increased by another 5%. The next time you get a reward is when you break through the 100,000 star mark. Now it seems that it is not far away. The benefits of faster plant growth are obvious. And this promotion covers the whole island. Even ordinary soil can be blessed. Even in areas outside the magic field, the growth rate of plants has increased by almost 50%. If you count the magic fields, especially the magic fields with abundant crops, that efficiency can be said to be growing at a speed that is visible to the naked eye. Passing through the planting area every day, there will be new harvests. Like ordinary corn, potatoes, and wheat, it was harvested one after another, filling the warehouse to the brim. Blue Star's grain prices are still rising, and there is no stopping trend. The price of Zying has stabilized in the normal area. The reason is that Sube's company sells a large amount of grain, and the price is stunned. However, Sube also requires that these grains can only be digested on the spot and cannot be used for reselling. Once found, immediately cancel the right to purchase. And there are rewards for reporting, increasing the daily purchase limit. Various measures go hand in hand to directly bleed the speculators. The current West City can be described as monolithic. Any news against Sube's company will be passed on to Zhengwen and Zhengwu as soon as possible, and they will respond to them. The spies of the Lighthouse country came in batches after batches, and they all disappeared. Subei needs a stable rear to provide him with a steady stream of psychic candidates. It has now begun to bear fruit. Zyke is under control. After finishing the battle with the island owner of the lighthouse country and completing the fusion of the islands, Subei headed straight for the mermaid territory. This time, I went downstream, and the time was shortened a lot. It is expected to arrive in 10 days. 10 days is enough for Subei to refresh and fix more than 2,000 entries. Subei couldn't even imagine how much he could improve the island. On the 5th day of the voyage, good news came from the alchemy room. The weakened version of the attribute elixir is complete. There are 3 versions in total. Corresponding to black iron, bronze, silver, gold and platinum respectively. Starting from the diamond level, you must use the full version of the attribute secret medicine, otherwise the improvement will be limited. The appearance of the weakened version of the attribute secret medicine means that the strength of Subei's combat troops will rise to a new level. Subei came to the alchemy room, looked at the newly configured attribute secret medicine, and smiled. Good stuff. This is definitely good stuff. How did the gap in combat power widen? Isn't it just the superposition of advantages little by little? Helena introduced. Currently, the 3 stages of attribute secret medicines have a daily output of 100 bottles, 20 bottles, and 5 bottles, respectively. Subei nodded. Good job, but the output of the 2nd stage attribute secret medicine should be increased, at least to 50 bottles a day. Helena said. Then we have to mobilize people from the forest banshee, and the production of purified holy water will be affected. Subei replied, it doesn't matter, the purpose of purifying holy water is relatively specific, and the current inventory is enough, and the sale will be cut down if it's a big deal. However, the configuration of attribute secret medicine cannot be delayed. Subei pointed out the key point. Our main combat troops are all above the silver level, and the gold level is everywhere, and they are the mainstream. In contrast, the 1st and 3rd order attribute secret medicines have a limited audience and maintain their current status. There is production. Helena nodded in agreement and replied, I understand, I will arrange it. Subei said, if there is any difficulty, tell me and I will solve it. Helena was greatly moved and pointed out her predicament. Islander, if you want to fully utilize the abilities of the potion master, the level is the key, and I need to be promoted to the diamond level as soon as possible. Subei stopped Helena's waist and smiled. Okay, help you level up at night. Helena smiled. During the conversation, Eve from the drawing room also sent a message. There is progress on her side too. Helena let Subei leave in a big way. Subei said a few words of relief and went to the drawing room. Eve came over to smell it a few times, and said, the island owner came from Helena. 39 Subei was very curious, raised his arm and smelled it a few times, but found no special smell. Eve smiled and said, this is the ability of the alpine elves, the island owner doesn't need to care. Okay. Subei put down his arms and said, you said there is new progress, what is it? Eve was about to cry and said, can't I find you if I'm okay? Subei has a black line. Where did this come from? Eve found that she didn't get the expected result, put away her expression, and took out the manual at the same time, and recorded, the new drama Domineering Island Master falls in love with me has no reference value, so it is excluded. Subei's eyes twitched, and decisively returned to the previous topic. Is there a problem with the drawing of the 5th order magic pattern? Eve put away the manual, nodded and said, 1 point, I have fully mastered the 5th order magic pattern, but the other 5th order magic patterns are a bit difficult, and the preliminary guess is that it is a level problem. 39 Subei, but I promised to help Helena level up. Eve replied calmly, it's okay, let's go together. 35 inches. Subei raised his head and sighed. When you say this, can you be a little shy, and in such a calm tone, is it appropriate? Flowers, where did that shy elf go? Eve continued, now the drawing of the 2nd order magic pattern of the combatants has been basically completed, and the follow-up arrangement should be made clear by the island owner. That's good news. Under the blessing of a full set of 2nd order magic patterns, the strength of the combatants will be greatly improved. Here, The help of the Black Elves is also inseparable. Due to their nature, it is difficult for them to appear a magic pattern master, but ordinary magic pattern masters are not a problem. The magic talent of the Black Elves is very strong, which is an innate advantage. Coupled with the strengthening of the entry, there is a magic pattern master, 6 official magic pattern masters, and more than 20 magic pattern apprentices. In the 6th fortress, there is also a drawing room, which is specially responsible for the magic pattern drawing of the dark race. The 2 drawing rooms started work at the same time, filling up the magic patterns of the combatants. Although they are all second order, the cumulative increase is also considerable. 0 And with the completion of the weakened version of the attribute Secret Medicine, a new round of promotion is about to begin. Subei gathered his thoughts and said, since the second order has been completed, then start the third order magic pattern drawing, but I also know the difficulty. After pondering for a moment, Subei continued, so, in addition to learning to draw the third order with the potential of the master, the rest is mainly the second order. The combat troops are completed, and there are production personnel. 35 However, this part of the staff does not need to catch up with the progress, and let the apprentices take half of the time every day to draw slowly, and the rest of the time is used to make magic scrolls. The magic pattern scrolls are mainly in the first order, and the second order is raised to 30 sets per day. Eve has no objection to Subei's arrangement. Schedule it now. On the Black Elf's side, Subei also conveyed the same instruction. According to Subei's calculations, after this arrangement, the output of the first order magic pattern scrolls can reach more than 200 sets per day. The income here is very exaggerated. The control of the output of the second order magic pattern scroll is to facilitate the price increase. Everyone uses the first order magic pattern. How to stabilize their own advantages. It must be a second order one. As the largest supplier of magic pattern scrolls, Subei will make a lot of money. After 10 days of sailing, the spirit of the island reported that the mermaid territory had arrived. A team of messengers sent by Queen Claudia was already on standby at the edge of the island. Subei immediately took someone to the shore to get in touch with him. The mermaid messenger first expressed their respect and thoughts to Subei. Subei left the mermaid territory and went to the Wood Elves for 40 days. The mermaids missed him very much. After the greeting, Subei drove the island to the top of the mermaid palace. Then he took his main subordinates to the palace and met Queen Claudia. Chapter 360 You want a holy son too? For activities like meeting the mermaid queen, it is inconvenient for Subei to bring the Black Elves and the others. I only brought mermaids like Winnie, plus Lulu, Heshlet, and Violet, the main powerhouses of various races. The total number is more than 30. But the strength is extraordinarily powerful. There are 4 diamond level powerhouses, and the rest are basically platinum level. Claudia said with emotion, Your Excellency Subei, the speed at which your strength has improved really surprised me. Subei smiled and said, Queen Claudia has spoken. After the greeting, Claudia led everyone to the banquet hall. A generous meal is prepared here. At the same time, he also dispatched his subordinates to send food and wine to the island. Subei thought to himself, last time I ate a big meal at the Wood Elves' side, and as a result, he had a spark with Dikaya. Do we want to repeat history this time? But there is a world tree on the Wood Elves' side that needs to be repaired, and the mermaid's side is nothing. The only valuable thing in 783 should be the horn of the sea god. But that thing has been in hand for a long time, and nothing happened. While thinking about it, Subei heard Claudia's voice beside him. Your Excellency Subei has a lot of thoughts, is there something bothering you? 5. Subei gathered his thoughts, smiled, and replied, I just think of an old friend. Claudia said, I think it's Queen Dki. Subei admitted generously and replied, that's right. Speaking of this, Subei remembered one thing, took out the necklace Claudia gave him earlier from his pocket, and said, I used to say that I would use this chain as a token, but it didn't work. Now that I'm here, I might as well return it. The original owner. 5. Claudia pushed the necklace back and said, you can keep it as a lucky charm. It's not a valuable item. Subei retracted his pocket, since Queen Claudia said so. Then I would be more respectful than obedient. The two chatted for a while, and Claudia said, "Your Excellency Sube, please follow me to the back garden, I have something to discuss with you." 35 Sube nodded. This is to relieve the trouble of the devil. The two left the banquet scene. Helena put down the wine glass and said dissatisfiedly, "Come again." Winnie, next to her, immediately said, "Don't worry, Lord Helena, Lord Sube is measured." Elaine and Millie nodded in agreement. This time is different from before. Claudia and Winnie belong to the same family of mermaids, so how could they object? Yvette also said, "The Queen has shouldered the burden of our family for all these years, if someone can help her share it, it would be great." Helena looked decisively at Eve next to her. Eve was very calm, and said casually, "This is the territory of mermaids, so let's go with the flow." 35 Dueling added, "Now the island's underwater defense force is lacking. I hope the island owner can get more mermaid patrols to come over." 5 When Helena thought about it, there seemed to be something wrong. Is this how the mermaid patrol came? But soon, Helena looked away. With the strength of Queen Claudia, there should be no need for the island owner to assist in the upgrade, and it will not take up too much time. As long as it doesn't affect her level improvement. In the back garden, Sube put his hand on Claudia's wrist, and then began to absorb the magic energy. After possessing the entry of the homology of good and evil, Sube's ability to absorb magic energy has also been strengthened. The magic energy that was deeply rooted in Claudia's magic power was easily absorbed. Claudia's eyebrows gradually stretched out. It feels lighter than ever. Sube's efforts are not in vain. After absorbing all of Claudia's magical energy, he was successfully promoted to the platinum level. But this is also a matter of course. After leaving the Wood Elf territory, he helped Helena and the others to level up along the way, and also gained a lot of improvement. In addition to the previous battle, the Dark Race lost hundreds of thousands of casualties, and the massive magic energy crystals gathered in Sube's hands, all of which were absorbed by him. With these foundations in place, this upgrade was expected by Sube. Sube retracted his hand and said, "The magic energy should have been completely absorbed." Claudia knew what was going on with herself, nodded and said, "Yes. The demonic energy can no longer trouble me." 35 With gratitude, Claudia stood up and saluted, "Thank you for everything you have done. From the previous Dark-Tide Murloc riot, to this time being troubled by magical energy, I really don't know how to thank your excellency." Sube waved his hand and said, "The Queen is not polite, it's just a matter of raising her hand." Claudia sat back in the chair, stretched, and sighed. It's been a long time since it's been so easy. 35 Although Sube has never been troubled by the problem of demonic energy, he can imagine that feeling and is also happy for Claudia. Immediately remembering the reason why Claudia was injured, he asked, "Is Queen Naga strong?" Claudia said, "If you only look at the strength of the magic power, I'm not on a par with her, but with the magic power factor in it, it's a bit tricky." Sube nodded. It is. The most troublesome part of the Dark Race is the erosion of demonic energy. Even Queen Claudia was recruited, let alone the ordinary aborigines. The source of the magic energy is the abyss. This is the biggest hidden danger in the island world. However, it is obviously out of place to talk about this topic now, and Sube didn't mention it, and just had a casual chat with Claudia. After a while, Claudia twisted and said, "Your Excellency is running all the way, and helping me remove the devilish energy. I must be tired. You might as well rest for a while before discussing other things." Sube subconsciously blurted out, "You want to be a saint too?" Claudia's face turned into a red apple, and she lowered her head and dared not look at Sube. But when I heard Sube's words, I still murmured slightly. Obviously, Sube got it right. Sube sensed it and found that the strong mermaid in the surrounding shadows was quietly retreating, while maintaining the magic barrier, isolating the entire back garden. Sube said a little embarrassedly, "It's not suitable here." Claudia covered her mouth and chuckled, "Isn't it good?" Sube said in his heart whether it was good or not, but when he came up, he made a big move, and he couldn't get used to it. Claudia was clearly well prepared, and with a slap, Subei lay down. This time I came to the mermaid palace, not to fight, so Subei didn't wear armor. Of course, he never wore armor either. The diamond level Poseidon armor is more decorative than combat use. This also means that Subei is wearing regular clothes. In the regular clothes, under Claudia's slap, were completely incapable of resisting, and turned into powder directly. Subei paled in shock. However, Claudia stretched out her finger and shook it, indicating not to speak, and then 2.5 slowly sank. Sure enough, Subei was speechless. The magic turmoil subsided, and Subei lay on the ground and looked at the sky. Of course, he is now underwater and can't see the sky. You can only see the blue sea water, which is isolated hundreds of meters above by giant bubbles, which is very magical. Claudia breathed a sigh of relief and said, "How long are you going to stay this time?" 99. Subei thought for a while and replied, "I don't know where to go for a while, so let's stay in this sea first. There should be no large-scale wars in this sea area, and you can develop with peace of mind." 99. Claudia rejoiced. "That's good." Subei played with Claudia's earlobe and asked, "I told you this statement of the sun?" Claudia's ears turned red, and she twisted back. "Yes, yes." Subei smiled secretly. He found Claudia's weakness. Suns and prophecies, and so on. More on that later. Chapter 307. Development goes hand in hand. After the battle subsided, Subei and Claudia returned to the banquet hall. Subei always felt that along the way, the mermaid convoy looked at him strangely. Not with hostility, but with extra kindness. Subei carefully recalled the situation just now. There was a magical barrier, and the movement should not be transmitted. Yes, he and Claudia spent a little longer in the back garden. But it is not very accurate to use this as a basis for judgment. While thinking about it, Subei and Claudia took their seats again, looking for topics to chat. Claudia said, "The scale of your island has increased, and the underwater defense strength is not enough." Subei nodded. "When I come back this time, I also want to order mermaids to go to the island again." Claudia pondered for a moment and said, "We have shrunk the territory and can draw out 500 patrol members." 35. Subei immediately replied, 500 is enough. Mermaid Patrol is a ready-made combat unit. The minimum is silver. With the various bonuses of the island, it will soon be upgraded to the gold level. There are 500 supplements. Really enough. Thinking of this, Subei said, "I can't let you suffer. I will share a part of the potion produced by the alchemy room. By the way, the mermaid magic pattern master I cultivated on the island will also give you half." Claudia said in surprise, 17 magic weave master? She clearly remembered that the mermaids sent over were all patrols and fighters. Can this be trained to become a magic weave master? If they were really talented, how could she fail? In fact, Claudia also tried to train a magic weave master, but the effect was not good. Usually, people are regularly organized to go to the wood elves' territory and ask them to help draw them. However, there are not many magic weave masters on the wood elves, so the progress is not fast. Fortunately, the mermaid's own magic talent is strong, and it has strong strength without the blessing of magic patterns, so there is no big problem. But there are magic weave masters. It is always good. At this time, after hearing Subei talking about the magic weave master, Claudia calmed down after being surprised. This man can always create miracles. Subei didn't think too much, and then explained, "Actually, not only mermaids, but also mermaids and human magic weave masters." Follow-up, preparations to train wood elf magic weave masters. 99. Also, like the black elves, they are also being cultivated, and they have achieved initial results. Claudia was really surprised this time. The mermaid doesn't matter, after all, the magic talent is there. But the sharks are medium aboriginal people, so the possibility of them becoming magic weave masters is very low. As for humans, it's even harder. Because the biggest obstacle is magic. As a result, these problems were solved. Claudia couldn't help but think what Dakaya had said to her back then. There will be a savior who will lead the aborigines and the dark race and become the sole ruler of this world. It now appears that it has appeared. Restraining her mind, Claudia said, "If that's the case, Then I'm welcome. Sube smiled and said, "There is no need to talk politely between you and me, it's all my own." Claudia nodded shyly, her little daughter showing her form. This feeling of being depended on was something Claudia had never experienced before. It was novel and reassuring. Sube thought for a moment and said, "Claudia, is there any connection between your mermaid clan? The mermaid here suffered a riot of dark tide merlicks and suffered heavy losses. Just relying on natural growth, it will take a lot of time to return to its heyday." Sube felt the need to shake people and find some support from other tribes. Claudia replied, "I have already sent messages to several other mermaid queens, and I think there will be a response after a while." Adding about 3,000 people, "It should be possible." Sube nodded, "That's good. I will stay in this sea area during this time. I will also send you to carry out the patrol mission with you." Claudia had no objection. With the current strength of the mermaid, it is still a little difficult to keep the territory in check. If there are members of the island patrolling together, it is naturally excellent. Sube also intends to take this opportunity to strengthen the synergy between the tribes. There can't be 6 fortress islands, each of which can be played separately. Then what's the point of his hope on the island? Only by uniting as one can we achieve the strongest combat power. The banquet at the palace was held until late at night. With Sube's strength, he was also a little drunk. There is a saying that wine is not intoxicating and people are self-intoxicating. With Claudia pouring wine beside, Sube naturally refuses to come and drink it all. The island was right above the palace, and Sube was in no hurry to go back. Coupled with the help of Claudia, he immediately rested in the palace. Fortunately, this time it was not a back garden, but a normal bedroom. In the early morning, after Sube packed up, he returned to the island first. He also has to refresh the fixed entry. Claudia was a little reluctant, but she also knew that the bigger picture was the most important thing. She also knew that Sube would not be going anywhere in the near future, and that he would spend some time together. When Sube returned to the island, he also brought 500 mermaid patrols with him. Like the previous mermaid patrol, Sube gave them a chance to choose again. Are you willing to take up arms against foreign enemies, or take off your armor and specialize in production? In the end, more than 80 mermaids took a back seat. Sube respected their choice and moved them to the artificial lake. The rest were incorporated into existing patrols and stationed at the second fortress. With the addition of the new mermaid, the defense power of the underwater bastion has been improved in a straight line. The most important thing is that after the dark tide merlicks were completely defeated, vitality shrouded this sea area again. Large numbers of marine life return. The mermaid activates the taming ability and expands the size of the guard. There are hundreds of gold-level water cannon turtles in the current underwater bastions. The output of the 2 artificial lakes is enough to maintain their daily consumption. In addition, Sube also kept his promise. 783 recruited mermaids from the drawing room and the alchemy room and made them follow Claudia's instructions. The strength of the mermaid and the island is progressing steadily. On the island, as the alchemy room began to produce attribute secret medicines, the strength of the combatants began a new round of improvement. To say that the most profitable is the ability user. Human beings are born with a lack of physical strength. The first stage attribute secret medicine is simply tailor-made for them. The output of 100 bottles per day is basically given to the power user. Mainly fighters from other clans, basically all at the minimum silver level, and they don't need to go to the next stage. The 3 attribute secret medicines configured by Helena cannot be superimposed, but take the maximum effect value. There are corresponding combatants for each level. As for Winnie, Elaine, Milia and Hexlant, the 4 diamond level ones used were the original formulas. For this reason, Sube directly emptied all the recent inventory, and only then did he exchange enough materials from the special team. While the overhead is high, Sube doesn't care. With the output of the drawing room, it can be quickly replenished. And with the increasing number of magic pattern apprentices on the dark side, the output of magic pattern scrolls can actually be increased from 200 sets to 300 sets. But Sube did not modify it, but let the mermaids under Claudia take turns to land on the island to draw magic patterns. For Sube, To improve the mermaid's strength is to improve his strength. Even Claudia is his, so don't worry too much. Chapter 308 Secret Fire Furnace. Fourth Order Aura gathers magic patterns. Time seems to have slowed down since returning to the mermaid territory. No enemies, no wars. Subei's daily job is to refresh the fixed entries and absorb the collected magic energy crystals. Just based on his background, it would take a long time to be promoted to the top platinum level, let alone be promoted to the diamond level. In this regard, Subei has no good solution, and can only accumulate slowly. In recent days, Subei has been at the Mermaid Palace at night. Going to the palace now is like going back to his own home. With further understanding, all of Claudia is also revealed in front of Subei. In front of the mermaid, she is a powerful queen who guides the mermaid family forward. But in private, Subei knew that Claudia was also suffering. If possible, she would rather be an ordinary mermaid who can live and sing freely. The appearance of Subei made Claudia feel a sense of support, and the smile on her face increased. While getting tired of Claudia, Subei did not forget to pay attention to the situation of all parties. The aftermath of the previous explosion of the island owner of the lighthouse country has not completely subsided. White House picks things up when things go wrong. Subei knew that Longo was under a lot of pressure and decided to give back to the special team. Just as the scale of the alchemy room expanded, Subei simply tripled the supply of magical potions. Hundreds of bottles of magical potions are transferred to the special affairs team warehouse through Shen Kingling's hands every day. With these materials, the special team has more confidence. No matter what the White House said, the response was just a few words. They can't find Subei, and they don't know where he is. If the lighthouse country wants to find him, they might as well go to the island world to find him. The popularity of the lighthouse country jumped up and down. But asking them to go to Subei, that's not a dare. 7 senior island masters went to encircle and suppress them, and 3 were directly abolished. The remaining 4 were also frightened and withdrew from the sea overnight, and now they don't know where they went. With the tragic lessons from before, the island owner of the lighthouse country has a lot of peace. At least they won't come to Subei until they organize a stronger combined force. And Subei didn't bother to look for them either. The time advantage is on his side. After the development of the attribute secret medicine was completed, the strength of the island fighting force began a new round of soaring. The effect is very obvious, even visible to the naked eye. Helena also completed the configuration of the attribute secret medicines of the 4 diamond level powerhouses Winnie and Heslet. The strength of the 4 has also improved a lot. Especially Heslet. It is more handy to build a large energy cannon. When the remaining 9 large-scale energy cannons are completed, the construction of the aircraft carrier can begin. On the other hand, after fixing 2 entries, the leader of the Blackrock Dwarves, Zayden, was also promoted to the top platinum level, and only after a suitable 3rd entry was refreshed, he could be promoted to the diamond level. At that time, the island will also welcome the 5th diamond level powerhouse, which is very worthy of congratulations. In that time, today. On a new day, after returning to the island from the Mermaid Palace, Subei found Zayden and refreshed his entry. An orange glow fills the field of vision, putting Subei in a good mood. Secret Fire Furnace, legendary, with the ability to summon the Secret Fire Furnace, which is an extremely efficient furnace. Entries are all kinds of strange, and it is not surprising that anything appears. Subei fixed directly. In any case, at least it is a legendary entry, and the effect will not be bad. The appearance of the Secret Fire Furnace can greatly increase the work efficiency of the Blackrock Dwarves. And this also means higher returns. At the moment when the entry was fixed, Zayden was directly promoted to the diamond level. And Subei's focus was on how strong the Secret Fire Furnace was, and he quickly ordered Zayden to summon it. Zayden naturally would not object. After choosing a location, Zayden begins to summon. A furnace emerges from the flame, full of ancient atmosphere. The internal flame does not go out, and it does not require external energy input. According to Subei's perception, The inscriptions engraved on the furnace can absorb the surrounding free magic and use it as fuel to keep the furnace running. Subei's heart moved and called Eve over. Eve couldn't take her eyes off the moment she saw the secret fire furnace. That set of inscriptions can be completely modified and transformed into magic patterns. Going back to the source, the magic pattern and the inscription are actually the same, but they are used in different places. Eve said excitedly, "Give me half a day. I can comprehend the fourth order or a converging magic pattern." Hearing this, Subei immediately said, "Until your research is complete, this furnace will not be put into use. You just need to research." 35 Eve became more and more delighted, circled around the secret fire furnace, recorded the inscription in her heart, and then found a pen and paper and began to try to draw it. After thinking for a moment, Subei called over all the Black Elves' magic weave masters. Just happened to study with Eve. The Black Elves are also his subordinates, and they cannot be treated badly. Then, Subei remembered something and asked Gabriel to bring 3 Hellfire Dragon eggs. With the ability of the secret fire furnace, it is estimated that the hatching progress can be accelerated again. To be safe, Subei put a dragon egg into the furnace first. As a fire-type dragon, theoretically speaking, the Hellfire Dragon egg should not be burned by the secret fire furnace. But who is right? Try one first. The trial was a success. The Hellfire Dragon egg absorbed the flame energy in the secret fire furnace, and the signs of life began to grow stronger. According to Subei's perception, it will take almost 2 months to hatch successfully. Immediately, without hesitation, put the other 2 eggs into the furnace. Not to mention that the secret fire furnace is a legendary quality. Even if there are 3 Hellfire Dragon eggs to absorb the flame ability, the temperature in the furnace has not dropped at all, and even more vigorous. Subei also called 2 teams of Black Elf guards to defend the surrounding area, and then returned to the main island. Today is a harvest day. In addition to harvesting the secret fire forge, the 3 blood spirit fruit trees obtained by the first monthly Rookie King assessment have matured. These 3 blood spirit fruit trees have no childhood. Due to the influence of the entry landing and rooting, they jumped directly to the maturity stage. After more than a month of growth, the blood spirit fruit finally matured. 3 fruit trees provided 65 blood spirit fruits, which can be described as a great harvest. First, they took one for dueling, Yvette and the others, and Subei took out the rest for auction in exchange for the necessary supplies. In this case, the special task force is indispensable. Under the command of the special affairs team, there are many elderly senior island owners who are deeply troubled by the end of their lives. Selling the blood spirit fruit to them can maximize the benefits. In the other side, these senior island owners under the command of the special team lived a few more years, and the impact was far-reaching. Taking Zhao Xuanhao as an example, he used blood spirit fruit and blood spirit potion to increase his lifespan by almost 20 years. Now he is full of energy. Qianhao, and he is very close to the main island of the lighthouse country. With the help of magical potions and magic pattern scrolls, good progress has been made. If the senior island owner under the special task force has increased his lifespan, sooner or later, he will face the island owner of the lighthouse country. Subei is obliged to be able to find the lighthouse country uncomfortable. The special team also highly affirmed Subei's actions. This spirit is worth learning. Nearly 50 blood spirit fruits were sold out. The number of medium-sized energy stones that were exchanged was more than 150. Coupled with other materials, Subei's island defense system will be more complete. The only thing that made Subei troublesome was that the island owners who bought the blood spirit fruit didn't know where they got the news. They all followed suit and sent a lot of juniors to the Blue Star Company. Each is charming, neither does Subei accept it, nor does it accept it. Can only bring them back to the island, all sent to Avina to fight. On the other hand, Eve also announced she completed the fourth order Aura Gathering magic pattern. Gang. Chapter 309 Missing Parts. The successful drawing of the fourth order Aura Gathering magic pattern marks that the top powerhouses on the island will increase a lot after a period of accumulation. Especially the existing platinum level powerhouses. The speed of promotion to diamond level will be shortened a lot. In half a year at most, There will be results. The original gold level will be promoted to platinum level within 3 months. The only problem is that the fourth order aura gathers magic patterns, which only Eve can draw. Others, even the masters of the Black Elf's magic pattern, are also lacking, and at most they can draw third order ones. This is also impossible. The difficulty of drawing the fourth order magic pattern is more than 5 times that of the third order magic pattern. If it weren't for the professional bonus of the great magic weave master, Eve might not be able to master it proficiently. At this time, the fifth order spell magic pattern that Eve drew for himself, the effect was reflected. It can ensure that her magic output is efficient and stable during the drawing process, and it will not be affected. According to Eve's calculation, she can complete 10 fourth order aura gathering magic patterns in 1 day. Barely enough. In the evening, Claudia found Sube slightly annoyed, and couldn't help asking, "If you have something to tell me, let's find a way together." Sube thought for a while, and said, "The drawing progress of the fourth order aura gathering magic pattern is too slow. If only Eve is alone, it is too hard." Claudia blushed, pressed Sube's chaotic hand, and said in a trembling voice, "If you don't, choose some people from my guards, and maybe there will be a suitable person." 783 Claudia's bodyguards are all platinum level, and their magic power base is absolutely sufficient. But the problem is that the magic weave master is not able to do it with magic power alone. But feeling Claudia's concern, Sube thought he could give it a try. Thinking of this, Sube said, "Okay, I'll listen to you." 35 Claudia was unable to respond, and her eyes were already blurred under Sube's offensive. Early in the morning, Claudia gathered the guards. Sube refreshed decisively. Great harvest. There are actually 5 platinum level Queen's guards who have refreshed the high-grade magic pattern entries. There is no S-level professional inheritance like the great magic weave master, but there are also A-level magic weave masters. But before fixing the entry, Sube felt that he needed to talk to Claudia first. Sube took Claudia back behind the scenes and said, "There are candidates, but giving them special abilities will change their loyalty." 5 Claudia covered her mouth and chuckled, with all kinds of style, "Is there any difference between their loyalty to you and their loyalty to me?" When Sube thought about it, this was indeed the truth. Since Claudia had no opinion, Sube didn't say any more and chose to fix it directly. At the same time refresh the second and third entries. All of them have improved the drawing of magic patterns, and they have also been fixed together. After fixing, the strength of the 5 Queen's guards has also been upgraded to the top platinum level, which is only 1 step away from the diamond level. Finding that Claudia had something to say, Sube asked the 5 Queen's guards to return to the island first. They need to learn under Eve's hands for a period of time to master the drawing techniques of various magic patterns. When they return from their studies, they will assist the mermaid tribe and complete the leap in strength. When no one was around, Sube asked, "It seems like I have something to tell me." Claudia nodded, "I hope you can help me strengthen all the Queen's guards." Sube said solemnly, "It's not difficult for me. But you must think clearly that once I give them extra abilities, not only will their loyalty change, but their beliefs will also change. Mermaids believe in sea gods, so does it fit?" Claudia sighed and said, "The sea god can no longer protect my family." Speaking of this, Claudia seemed to have made up her mind and said, "The glory of the gods is no longer. My family needs to find a new direction. Let's start with the guards." Claudia reached out and caressed Sube's cheek, and murmured, "I hope you will grow up as soon as possible and truly have the power to dominate everything. At that time, I will be able to step down from the role of the queen." Sube sighed in his heart. This is actually the reason why he did not refresh the fixed entries for Dikaya and Claudia. In fact, when he was in the Wood Elves territory before, he and Dikaya discussed this matter. The answer is that now is not the time. After leaving the super island, Sube was also thinking about the missing parts along the way. Now he is clear. Belief. He also lacked the strength to respond to faith. At this stage, the prayers of the Hope Club are constantly strengthening Sube's strength. But in turn, he could not answer prayers. In fact, it cannot be said completely. A fixed entry is also a response at a certain bhcf level. But the problem is that the number of times is limited. According to Subei's calculations, this problem needs to be solved at the star level. And now, as Dukaya said, the time has not come. Therefore, Claudia's entry is fixed and can only be postponed for the time being. However, it is not convenient for Claudia to fix the entry, and the Queen's guards under her command do not have so many restrictions. Before on Dukaya's side, Subei actually wanted to help Dukaya strengthen the guard of the World Tree. But Dukaya didn't agree. It's not a matter of loyalty. After all, Dukaya is Subei's woman. Or because of faith. This question is unsolvable. Wood elves and mermaids are different. Mermaids believe in sea gods. The sea god has fallen, and there is no response. Converting beliefs will only bring pain, but it will not have much impact. As for the wood elves, the situation is much more complicated. The main thing is that the World Tree is not completely dead. Even after Subei's entry was fixed, it was separated from the end of death, and there was some movement. In this way, it is not easy for the wood elves to change their beliefs easily. Unless a new World Tree appears. On the way back, Subei also comprehended the true meaning of the third entry in the heart of the World Tree, passing the crown. The dying World Tree gave up irrelevant authority, thus giving the new World Tree an opportunity to be born. Subei predicts that when he is promoted to the star level and the restrictions are completely lifted, he will be able to cultivate the World Tree through entries. At that time, whether it is the wood elves or the mermaids, they will submit to the entire clan. Now, still can only wait. Restraining his mind, Subei began to refresh the entry for the Queen's guards. These platinum level mermaids, the level basis is there. As long as there are suitable high-level entries, they will be promoted to a large number of diamond-level powerhouses. Greatly complements the strength of the mermaid. Even stronger than before. When the total number of the Queen's guards reaches 100, it is impossible to fix all three entries in one day. In addition, the island also needs to continue to strengthen. Subei is going to split the fixed reps in two and strengthen both sides at the same time. With more than 100 entries fixed, the strength of the Queen's guards has been greatly improved. In particular, the top platinum players have excellent luck, and the minimum is 3 epic level entries, and they are directly promoted to the diamond level. This background makes Subei a little envious. In the next few days, there will be a new diamond grade for the Queen's Guard. The benefits of this improvement are obvious. Claudia can send them around to guard a sea area. The mermaid's territory can not only be restored to its original state, but even further expanded. Claudia reciprocated and gave Subei 500 patrols. In this way, the number of mermaids on the island is close to 1,500. And the underwater bastion can be called impregnable. Time passed slowly as Subei ran on both sides. In a blink of an eye, the third monthly Rookie King evaluation came. After harvesting 3 blood spirit fruit tree seeds again, a group of unexpected guests appeared in the surrounding waters. Chapter 310 Church of Goddess of Luck. When Subei received the news, she had just finished fixing the third entry of the last Queen's Guard, and she was also promoted to the top platinum level, and her promotion to the diamond level was just around the corner. At this time, the number of the Queen's guards was still 100, but the overall strength had more than doubled. Claudia was concerned about Subei, and directly dispatched 30 Queen guards to the island. In fact, she wanted to split half of it, but was stopped by Subei, and in the end, she only accepted 30. And only the platinum grade. The new diamond class, all, left to Claudia. Subei himself is invincible and invincible, whoever catches the second, and whether there is a new diamond level mermaid fish, makes little difference. But Claudia is different. He doesn't want something to happen to Claudia. To be honest, if it wasn't for the mermaid clan who didn't have any high-level diamond rank, Subei would have to strengthen 1 or 2 more star rank and let them assist Claudia. Now, can only give up. After receiving the information, Subei returned to the island to inquire about the situation. Du Ling went to Qian Qian Hui to report, "Island owner, there is a fleet 10 nautical miles away. They call themselves the Church of the Goddess of Luck and hope to talk to you." 5 Lady Luck? Subei's heart skipped a beat, feeling the uneasiness of being caught. Speaking of which, He and Lady Luck are also involved a lot. From the original book of the Goddess of Luck to the back of the lucky flower. All have an indelible connection with the Goddess of Luck. Now, the Lucky Church came to the door, and Sube subconsciously decided that this matter was related to the Flower of Luck. Sube couldn't help thinking. Did they find themselves taking the lucky flower? Concentrating his mind, Sube asked, "How many people there are on the other side and how strong are they?" Du Ling replied, "There are 15 ships in total, 3 of which are official warships, and the rest are merchant ships. According to the boarding statistics of the Mermaid Patrol, the total number of people is more than 2,000, and the strongest is the Diamond Senior. 35 good guy." Sube called the good guy directly. If it weren't for the Lucky Church to let the patrol team board the ship for statistics, he would have wondered if the other party was going to take him. High-level diamonds are all coming out. Outrageous. And this also aroused Sube's curiosity. Lucky Church engaged in such a big battle, definitely not just for sightseeing. Sube is curious to know their intentions. After pondering for a moment, Sube said, "Notify the patrol team and let the fleet of the Lucky Church come over and dock at the port." During this time, attack ships were launched one after another, and the port was expanded. 15 more boats can be accommodated without pressure. Du Ling took orders and left. Sube asked someone to send a message to Claudia to keep her alert. Afterwards, Sube called Winnie and other strong men to meet the Lucky Church at the port. Since the other party is not hostile, then he must also do the scene work. No need to make enemies everywhere. In addition, Sube called Lulu up too. The affairs of the church are left to the church. As the Pope of the Hope Society, Lulu is duty-bound. Not long after the welcome work was ready, a huge fleet appeared inside. The entrance to the port is on the left front side of the main island, between the first and second fortresses. At this time, the fortresses on the 2 fortress islands were all ready and ready to fire at any time. It is a must to be prepared for everything. However, as long as the opponent does not act rashly, Sube will not take the initiative to fire. Compared to fighting, he wanted to know what the Lucky Church was doing. In a slightly tense atmosphere, the fleet docked at the port. Afterwards, everyone on board gathered on the deck. As the fleet slowed down, Sube noticed that the 3 battleships were slightly different. In the middle one, the hull is 2 laps larger. The armor plates were painted pearly white, with gold patterns outlined on them, and flags hung from the masts. It is the emblem of the Goddess of Luck. Sube knew it. The one in the middle is not so much a battleship as it is a guard of honor. Represents the facade of the Lucky Church. The Diamond Advanced Powerhouse Du Ling said was also on this battleship. The 3 warships lowered a gangway, and personnel landed on the island one after another. One of them was covered in a cloak. However, it can be seen from the figure that this is a female. As for which clan it is not clear. The Diamond high-ranking powerhouse is wearing armor and has a helmet in his hand. Judging from the face, this is probably an elf. FL number 8LF. The skin is slightly purple though, Sube recalled for a moment, a little surprised. This turned out to be the Moon Elf. Moon Elves are a branch of the elves and generally believe in the moon god. At this time, a diamond high-level moon elf was found in the team of the Lucky Church, which made Sube a little confused. He didn't believe in the moon god, but instead went to believe in the Goddess of Luck, so he wasn't afraid of being beaten to death by other moon elves. Sensing that Sube was looking at him, the moon elf bowed and said, "Archibald, the chief arbitrator of the Church of Lady Luck, greets your excellency." The arbiter, or the arbiter corps, is an essential department of the church, seeking flowers mainly responsible for foreign operations. Sube also recently authorized Lulu to form the Hope Society's armed forces. At this moment, when Archibald reported his family name, Sube immediately understood the identity of the other party. At the same time, he also knew the identity of the woman next to him. The Pope of the Lucky Church, or the Holy Maiden. Which one depends on age. While thinking about it, the woman took off her cloak and hood, revealing a delicate face. Much like sprites, but slightly different. If I really want to say it, it is like a mixture of elves and humans, and it is more human. Archibald stands to greet, Your Excellency the Pope. 35 other lucky church members saluted. Sube was startled. This girl who looked to be in her teens turned out to be the Pope of the Church of the Goddess of Luck. However, considering that she has elven blood, her lifespan is very long, and her face will not age, so her real age may be much more than what she looks like. Concentrating his mind, Sube greeted, "Welcome, Your Excellency the Pope, to be a guest here. I don't know your name." The woman replied, "Your Excellency, the island owner is polite, just call me Selma." 99 Sube nodded, "Pope Selma, I don't know why you are here, I should have never dealt with your religion." 35 Selma smiled and asked, "Is there really no dealings? Your Excellency has taken something from the ruins of my teaching." Sube didn't change his face, and said, "I remembered, it seems that there is such a thing. There has been a lot of fighting recently, but I forgot it. I ask Pope Selman to forgive me." Selma smiled lightly. On the other hand, the corner of Archibald's eyes twitched. This human being can really open his eyes and talk nonsense. Sube pretended not to see it, and turned to introduce Lulu, saying, "This is the Pope of the Hope Society, Lulu." Archibald said in surprise, "Hopefully, forgive my ignorance, I haven't heard of this church before." Selma didn't speak, but looking at her expression, she thought the same way. Sube smiled and said casually, "Oh, this is a newly established church on my island. It's normal that you haven't heard of it." As soon as this statement came out, the atmosphere suddenly became tense. Archibald controlled himself with great perseverance and did not utter the word blasphemer. Selma's expression was unpredictable, and finally she said with a deep meaning, "I hope so. This is a good name. I hope it can really bring hope." 5. Sube smiled slightly. "Yes, dry. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 311 The Origin of the Gemcat. In the island world, the premise of establishing a church is to have a god. After the Battle of Gods 10,000 years ago, the original gods did not respond, and no new gods appeared. The power of various churches is shrinking sharply. But this does not affect that necessary premise. To set up a church, there must be a god. But now, Sube has set up a Hope Society on the island without a god. Not an ordinary organization, but a real church. There is a pope. The meaning here may not be known to outsiders. But Selma and Archibald, it couldn't be clearer. The man in front of him intends to become a god. But this is not the time to be entangled in this matter. Selma came with a clear mission. Meow meow meow. The meow of the Gemcat sounded in the distance, driving the rock soldiers to run all the way. Seeing Jewel Cat again, Sube felt like a lifetime away. The sky finally woke up. 787. As a cat, it actually hibernates. Whether it is hibernation or not, Sube can't say, but it is a similar state. It has been 2 months since the Gemcat went into a deep sleep. She has been sleeping. No matter how Sube calls, she just won't wake up. At most, he meows twice in his sleep to express dissatisfaction. If its vital signs were not very stable, Sube was ready to use violence to wake it up. Originally, Sube thought that this guy would sleep until he died of old age, but he suddenly woke up today. What surprised Sube even more was that Selma and Archibald half kneeled on the ground with a snap, their expressions extremely holy. "My lord's messenger, I have finally found you." This scene can't be fixed for Sube. Holding the back of the Jewel Cat's neck in front of him and carefully observing, Sube vaguely noticed a slight difference. There is a touch of faith in the Gemcat. With a trembling voice, Thelma said, "Your Excellency, please put down the messenger of my lord." 35 Sube put the Gemcat back on the rock soldier's head, rubbed his chin and said, "You mean, this Gemcat is the messenger of the goddess of luck?" Selma breathed a sigh of relief, wiped the sweat on her forehead, and replied, "Yes." Seeing that Sube was about to catch the Gemcat again, Thelma quickly said, "Your Excellency, please allow me to elaborate on the reason." Sube's attention shifted, and he continued with a wave of his hand. Thelma glanced around, and the meaning was self-evident. Sube decisively moved the crowd to the conference room, and brought the gem cat on the way. This guy still has secrets, which must be dug up today. Meow meow meow. The gem cat was so angry that he tried to break free, but failed. The cat had a look of shock on his face. It can't break free from Sube's palm, is it reasonable? Seeing Thelma and Archibald's expressions getting darker and darker, Sube put the gem cat back on top of the rock soldier's head. These 5 rock soldiers, after the gem cat fell asleep, have also been guarding by the side. Sube also lacked this combat power, so he ignored them. Everyone came to the conference room to take their seats. Sube said, "Let's talk about the gem cat first." Thelma was very straightforward and said directly, 3 months ago, after I taught the routine prayer, the statue of the goddess reacted, and a cat fell from the gap, which is the gem cat on your island. 6699. Sube looked up at the ceiling. Does this work too? Immediately, Sube's heart moved. 3 months ago, wasn't it the day when these newcomers came to the island world? Could it be that at that time, the goddess of luck threw the gem cat down? What's the connection here? As for Selma's words, Sube believed it by 7 points. Thinking about it carefully, the gem cat and the goddess of luck can actually be linked. The skill of the gem cat, a little luck, is not something that ordinary creatures can obtain. But if it's associated with Lady Luck, it makes sense. Out of the corner of Sube's eyes, he caught a glimpse of the innocent-looking gem cat, and it was really hard to associate it with the goddess of luck. Restraining his mind, Sube said, "So what does your sect mean? Do you want to bring the gem cat back?" Selma shook his head and said, "No, we are here this time, just to confirm the status of the messenger, and at the same time to issue a warning to your excellency." Sube directly put the gem cat thing behind him and asked, "Warning? What warning is it from the goddess of luck, or you calculated it yourself?" Meow meow meow. The gem cat meowed twice to express dissatisfaction. It finally woke up, and the focus must be on it. Sube grabbed the back of Jewel Cat's neck angrily and said, "Shut up." Meow. Jewel Cat was so angry that she turned her head and bit Sube's wrist fiercely. Then I almost broke my tooth. Jewel Cat was grieved with tears. Selma almost fell to her knees, and said in horror, "Your Excellency, please, please put down the messenger of my lord." Sube put a gem cat on his knee and said casually, "You said this guy is a messenger, so when it appeared at that time, did it bring any token?" 55. Speaking of which, how could you lose such an important gem cat? Selma and Archibald were ashamed. It's really an indelible stain. Cough, cough. Selma coughed twice and said, "This is my lord's messenger, and we dare not limit it. As for the token, there is actually a piece of parchment with the coordinates recorded on it." Coordinate? Sube asked with a little guilty conscience. "Is it a certain enchanted island with the flower of luck on it?" Selma half smiles. "Your Excellency should know best." "Yes, it really is the temple of the goddess of luck back then." Sube pondered for a moment and asked, "The goddess of luck has responded. Does that mean that the gods are returning to the island world?" 35. This is Sube's greatest concern. Whether there is a god or not makes a big difference. Thelma shook his head. "I don't know. The goddess did not give a direct indication. After receiving the coordinates, we went to look for it, and it is not clear when the gem cat disappeared during this period." 39. Sube is a little confused. What does Lady Luck mean? If he jumped out directly, it would be a good thing. Now hiding behind the scenes, it makes Sube restrained. The arrival of Selma and his party not only did not make Sube feel at ease, but instead filled him with doubts. At this time, Lulu said, "Pope Selma, is there an oracle?" On the bright side, Lulu's identity is also the Pope, and Cell 2.5 Ma needs to be treated equally. Not to mention whether this hope will be compliant in the end. At least on Sube's island, that's legal. At this time, Lulu asked. Selma replied, "No." Lulu resolutely asked, "Since this is the case, how can we conclude that the gem cat and the coordinate parchment were descended by the goddess of luck, and not deliberately put in by someone?" Lulu's eyes became sharp. The subsequent disappearance of the gem cat may not be because you neglected to take care of it, but someone discarded it to prevent the plan from being exposed. I don't know how to answer this question, and I hope Pope Selma can answer it. Sube was very satisfied. Lulu has grown up and already has the ability to be independent. At the same time, Lulu's questioning is actually Sube's question. Does this matter really have something to do with the goddess of luck? Even take a step back. Are these people, Selma, really members of the Goddess of Luck Church? Chapter 312. Bad news. Lulu's set of combined punches made Selma quite unstoppable. But she also has a way of proving herself. Give Archibald a look. The latter took out the palm-sized small box from the lining of the armor and handed it to Selma respectfully. Thelma said, "This is another lucky flower, and the reason why we can find this place is because of the inductive connection between the two lucky flowers." Saying that, Thelma opened the box. Sube looked over, and it was clearly marked on the attribute panel that this was the flower of luck. Sube nodded towards Lulu. Lulu said, "Pope Selma, I misunderstood you, please forgive me." Selma was easy to talk, waved her hand, and said seriously, "Pope Lulu doesn't have to do this. It's normal for you to have concerns." The atmosphere in the conference room became calmer again. Thelma looked at the flower of luck and said with a little doubt, "Strange, after arriving at the island, the flower of luck didn't respond." Of course Sube knew the reason, but he wouldn't take the initiative to explain. He just said vaguely, "It may be because of the proximity, so there is no need to resonate to attract." Selma thought it was justified, and gave the flower of luck to Archibald for storage, and then said, "Although the goddess did not directly send down the oracle, recent signs indicate that new changes are about to appear." Sube remembered what Selma said before the 17th, and took over. "Speaking of which, what is the warning Your Excellency said?" "I was about to talk about this topic just now, but was interrupted by Gemcat." Sube gave Jewel Cat a warning look. "If you dare to speak indiscriminately, you will look good." The Gemcat was very upset, but also gave Sube face and rested on the top of the rock soldier. Selma looked at it with a slightly bitter expression. "This is obviously the Gemcat of the goddess." However, as Selma said before, this is the messenger sent by the goddess of luck, and they dare not restrict their movements. Including finding the Gemcat this time. But it is not good to force it away. You can only try to persuade with good words, persuade them to go to the boat, and then take them away. Now that Sube asked about the warning, Selma could only put it aside and replied, "It's a warning about the abyss." 35 Thelma explained, after the battle of the gods 10,000 years ago, the goddess left behind a crystal before she went into seclusion, which could monitor the movement of the abyss. Speaking of this, Thelma's expression became a little dignified, and he said word by word, "A month ago, that crystal shattered." Sube immediately realized the seriousness of the matter. If the abyss had not made a big move, the crystal would definitely not be broken. Back then, the abyss was connected through the island world. Now that there is a big move, the only explanation is that the passage to the abyss and the island world will be reopened. The army of demons in the abyss will come again, setting off boundless slaughter. This is a catastrophe that has swept the entire island world. And this is further inferred. Will the collision between the abyss and the island world bring about new changes? For example, the return of the gods. Gods do not perish so easily. The original battle of gods did not cause all the gods to perish. The abyss is coming, and it is very likely to bring about a chain reaction. If this guess comes true, what role will the Gemcat play in it? Sube looked at the Gemcat and wondered if it should be written for the other two entries. No matter what the goddess of luck wants to do with the Gemcat, the 3 entries will be reinforced and all his methods will be blocked directly. Thinking of this, Sube suddenly felt a lot more at ease. And the Gemcat returned a vigilant look. Although it's just a cat, it's not to be messed with either. Collecting his thoughts, Sube said, "What Pope Selma is worried about is the reopening of the abyss passage." Selma nodded and said without shyness, "Yes." In the absence of a response from the gods, our chances of winning against the abyss are very low. 5 Fortunately, Selma didn't bring all bad news, and went on to say, "According to calculations, We still have about half a year to prepare. The abyss did not come immediately, which was good news. And half a year is enough. Not to mention too much. Subei is completely able to advance to the star level and bless himself with the 4th mythical level entry. At that time, even if the abyss came, he would have the confidence to fight. But from Selma's point of view, half a year is not enough. Even 10 more years are not enough. The improvement of strength cannot be accomplished overnight. While the record has been blurred, one thing is clear. The abyss is a place full of fighting and slaughter, where creatures live and die from fighting. They brought only death. Thelma said, Your Excellency Subei, according to the information we have received along the way, your strength is unprecedented, and you may have to pay more attention to fighting the abyss. Subei said sternly, The island world is my second home. I will definitely not sit back and watch this place destroyed by war. The monsters in the abyss dare to come, and they will never come back. Around Subei, Winnie and many other strong men also had high fighting spirit. What if there are enemies? They will be victorious under the leadership of the island owner. Selma nodded. I am relieved with your words. Afterwards, Selma said, We have passed the news to other churches and are working hard to lobby all ethnic groups and join forces to fight the enemy. This is a necessary arrangement. Whatever the effect, at least there must be action. You can't wait until the abyss really comes, and then act. It's really too late. In addition, although Selma said that there is half a year of preparation time. But Subei is not too optimistic. This time may be earlier at any time. The situation is very urgent. The two chatted for a while. Thelma said, Your Excellency, if the abyss comes this time, you humans will not be able to stay out of it. With your strength, you must be respected among humans. I hope you can unite with some island owners, fight together. Subei pondered for a moment, then said, My personal strength is limited, but I can help you connect and contact the Special Affairs Team. Selma had apparently heard of the special team, and immediately said, That would be better. Subei decisively sent Shen Qingling a few messages. Shen Qingling replied, I'll give you a coordinate. It's our senior island owner closest to the mermaid territory. People from the Lucky Church can go there to meet us. Subei, okay, I'll tell them. By the way, pay attention to distinguish the truth from the false. Shen Qingling, don't worry, we know what we have in mind. In fact, about the abyss, I was going to tell you that Lucky Church saved a lot of trouble with you. Subei is not surprised by this. Since the Lucky Church has spread the news, the Special Affairs Team will definitely receive the news. The two discussed a few words, and Shen Qingling sent the coordinates. Subei looked at it. More than 500 nautical miles away. The coordinates were told to Selma, who thanked him again and again. Selma knew the status of the special team in the Dragon Kingdom. If the special team was willing to participate in the war, it would be a great help. In fact, even if Selma didn't say anything about this matter, when the abyss came, the special team couldn't stay out of it. Just in the island world, where can you go? However, if there is information provided by the Lucky Church, arrangements can be made in advance. These ancient churches that have been passed down to this day do have two brushes. Selma took out a stack of blueprints and said, Your Excellency, this is a detection device that can detect the traces of monsters in the abyss within 100 miles, including temporary passages. Subei accepted the drawings and expressed his gratitude. This is good stuff. Be prepared to be safe. Having said that, basically the purpose of Selma's trip has been basically completed. She didn't plan to stay for too long, and took everyone to get up and say goodbye. Subei sends Selma to the port. The work of persuading the gem cat ultimately failed. No matter how diligent Selma is, the jewel cat is unmoved. It lives well on this island and does not want to move its nest at all. Seeing this situation, Selma could only give up. Before boarding the ship, Thelma sighed, Your Excellency Subei, take care, I hope we can meet again in the future. 5. Subei smiled. Yes. Chapter 213. Decision. After sending off Selma and his party, Subei gathered the strong men of all ethnic groups on the island and clarified the focus of the follow-up work. Prepare for battle. Under the circumstance that it is basically certain that the abyss passage will be opened, It is definitely not possible to sit still. The fighting force on the island needs to be further strengthened. There are two directions: individual strength and overall quantity. These 2 points need to go hand in hand and cannot be partial. For this, the entire island needs to be mobilized. At the same time, we must gather all the forces that can be used. Subei felt that he had to start over again. He is going to go to the dark race, subdue the other party, and earn it under his command. Of course, the Aborigines are also not to be missed. Not only that, but also from other angles to enhance their own strength. For example, to further increase the area of the island and achieve self-sufficiency in a state of total blockade. At this stage, it is possible to travel back and forth between Island World and Blue Star. But when the Abyss Passage is opened, it is hard to say whether the two worlds will be disconnected again. Must be prepared in advance. Subei is ready to hurry up and transfer the ability user and the corresponding candidates to the island as a reserve force. For this, he needs a bigger island. What else is a faster way than absorbing ready-made islands? Subei decisively sent a message to Shen Qingling. I need the coordinates of the island owners of other forces. Shen Qingling, are you going to attack them? This may cause some disputes. Subei, in order to fight against the outside world, we must first make peace with the inside. And this is my personal behavior, and the special team has no knowledge of it. Shen Qingling, it's not necessary. The special team can afford this responsibility. Shen Qingling, as for the coordinates, I have some here, and I will send them to you. I suggest you go to the Mermaid Queen and get rid of the Naga first. They are very likely to go to the Abyss. After all, there are demonic erosions. Base. Subei, that's exactly what I mean. If you have the coordinates of the island owner on the Naga side, send it to me as well. Anyway, a lot of islands have already been destroyed, so it's okay to have more. Shen Qingling, no problem. During the conversation, more than a dozen coordinates were sent. Subei roughly calculated the location and went all the way to the southwest. After discussing their follow-up cooperation with Shen Qingling, Subei turned off the chat bar and went to the Mermaid Palace. Claudian understood as soon as she said it. Because the Mermaid family also has records about the Abyss, and because Dukaya mentioned the prophecy to Claudia, she was not surprised at all. It was only when she heard that Subei was going to exterminate the Naga tribe, Claudia became restless. In the back garden, Claudia snuggled in Subei's arms and said with a little worry, Queen Naga is tricky and her strength is unfathomable. I'm afraid you will get hurt. Subei smiled and replied, I know it in my heart. This time he went to attack the Naga tribe, not only to subdue the ordinary Naga, but also to take the Queen Naga under her command. The two previous Black Elves commanders had no choice but to kill Subei, but it broke his heart. Going to fight Naga this time, without outsiders present, he has no restrictions. Directly beat the Naga Queen. That is a star-level powerhouse. After the entry is fixed, maybe he will break through the star level and be promoted to the supreme level. That was Subei's new whole card. As for the question of faith, it is easy to solve. The dark race is purely respectful of the strong, and their beliefs are very vague. Whoever has the bigger fist has the right to speak. Subei defeats the Naga Queen head-on, and can easily conquer the entire Naga tribe. By then, there will be at least 10,000 to 20,000 more combat troops. In the follow-up, go to a few dark tribes to fight, and the strength will expand like a balloon. Collecting his thoughts, Subei said, the defensive issue here makes me a little uneasy. 99 Feeling Subei's concern, Claudia was overjoyed. However, thinking about the imminent separation is a bit down. Subei thought for a moment, then said, why don't you move to Dakaya's place, or have someone to take care of? 35 Claudia hesitated, but my family has always lived here, and if you want to move out, there will be a lot of internal resistance, and the safety of the surrounding sea area also needs us to maintain. My family has moved away, those weak. What to do with the clan? This is also a problem. To some extent, the mermaid is the symbol of this sea area and the support of those weak marines. Claudia has a heavy responsibility on her shoulders, and it's impossible to just leave. Subei said, then let's change the method. You mermaids will walk with the surrounding weak people. If you join with the wood elves, you will be able to arrange your defenses better. 5. Although it is difficult to execute, the abyss passage is about to open, and it can be changed. As for those who are determined not to leave, they can only be left to fend for themselves. Subei's expression was a little grim. Whether it is from a strategic level or a personal level, I can't let you suffer here because of those weak people. Claudia stretched out her hand to smooth Subei's eyebrows and said softly, "Don't worry, I'll listen to you." Subei's expression was soothing. He sighed, and said, "It's not that I'm making a fuss, but the dangers of the abyss, you know all too well. Just the erosion of demonic energy caused the appearance of the dark race. Once the abyss really comes, I'm afraid the activity area will be greatly reduced, and it will be too late to go to the wood elves." Claudia nodded. "That's the truth, but if you want to move out, it will not be completed in a short time, and it will take at least a month to prepare." 99. Subei thought for a moment, then said, "All right, then I'll stay here for another month." "But," Claudia shook her head and said sternly, "I can't limit you here for personal reasons. It's not appropriate. You just go to Naga." Just as Subei was about to speak, Claudia put her finger on his lips. Claudia's eyes were clear and she said, "Believe me, my clan has survived to this day, not just by luck." Since Claudia had said so, Subei respected her choice. After deciding to relocate with her family, Claudia felt a lot more relaxed, and turned to another thing. Claudia said in distress, "After so long, the sun still hasn't moved at all." Subei squeezed Claudia's earlobe lightly and said, "This matter can't be rushed. We need to continue to work hard, Dalkianzel. But this is not the time for war, and there are still many things to deal with." After a moment of tenderness, Subei got up and left the palace and returned to the main island. First, let Zhuan Menaiu return to Blue Star, arrange a new task for Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu, and let them gather all the existing abilities and candidates in several cities. Tomorrow, Subei will return to Blue Star and bring people take to the island. Zhuan Menaiu took the order and left. Then, Subei went to the forge to find Heslet, and discussed the matter of continuing to recruit dwarves. Heslet had also attended the meeting before and knew about the abyss passage. After some deliberation, he decided to return to the clan in person and try to bring more clansmen over. Naturally, Subei raised his hands in approval, contacted Shen Qingling, and sent Heslet, Gabriel and others back to the dwarf tribe through continuous teleportation. At the same time, Claudia also dispatched a large number of mermaid patrols to the surrounding waters to contact the aborigines. The sea area was once again shrouded in tension. Chapter 314 Set Sail. Blue Star's accident. It took Heslet and others 2 days to travel back and forth. During this period, Subei also returned to Blue Star, bringing back 1,000 abilities, plus more than 1,000 candidates. They will be stationed in the 3rd stronghold for training. There is only one task for these powers. Upgrade. With the blessing of potions and magic patterns, it should not be a problem for them to raise the level to the silver level within half a year. When you reach the silver level, you will initially have the ability to fight head-on. Coupled with the follow-up entry bonus, the strength should not be underestimated. At the same time, Blue Star Company will continue to cultivate ability users, waiting for the subsequent transfer. Now Subei, there is no need to worry about the attack of demonized monsters. On the contrary, he is still looking forward to the demonized monster to send death. That is a ready-made material, made into equipment, just to arm the ability user. After the power user was placed, Heslet also returned. They brought back 3,000 dwarves. When Subei heard the news, he couldn't help but get excited. These 3,000 dwarves will greatly supplement the strength of the island. Of course, these dwarves are not all strong. There are some old and weak women and children. Subei didn't pick either. He waved his hand, and all were transferred to the main island to live. In this way, the remaining dwarves have no worries and devote themselves to the work of the forge. On the other side, the marine tribes in the surrounding waters also sent representatives to the mermaid territory to discuss the relocation. The news that the abyss passage is about to open 787 directly wiped out all objections. Compared with a little inconvenience, the abyss is more terrifying. Moreover, the last time the Dark Tide Merlix rioted, The strength of all ethnic groups has been greatly reduced, and they have not recovered so far. Even if the Abyss Passage is full, it will be opened in half a year, and the time will not be enough. Go to the super island of the Wood Elves and join forces to defend. This is the only way out. However, after all, this matter is a big one and needs to be discussed in detail. By the way, Claudia has to wait for the support of other mermaid tribes, which can be regarded as killing two birds with one stone. On Subei's side, after Heslet and the others returned, after 2 days of adjustment, they have basically stabilized and can set off at any time. And the closer to departure, the more reluctant Claudia will be, and she haunts Subei all night. Subei is naturally responsive. When the time for parting came, Subei bid farewell to Claudia and gave orders on the main island. Sail, target, Queen Naga. The island vibrated slightly, and the speed continued to increase, finally riding the wind and waves on the sea. On the sea, Claudia reluctantly said goodbye with many mermaids. When the island disappeared from view, Claudia took her clan back to the deep sea. Subei was fighting, and she couldn't stop. BHCF, the threat of the abyss, no one can stay out of it, must always resist. Except for some scheming ones. There was no problem on the mermaid side, and Subei's island was also progressing smoothly. The first one to go wrong was Blue Star. On the third day after the voyage, there were still 2 days before the nearest destination island, Subei received news from Shen Qingling. A severe food crisis broke out in the lighthouse country. To be honest, Subei was stunned when he received the news. He knew that Blue Star had a food shortage and a crisis would break out, and he was constantly preparing for it. But he never imagined that it would be the lighthouse country's first problem. Logically speaking, wouldn't they transfer the crisis and let allies take the blame? For example, the country of kangaroos and the like. How to get yourself into a hole. This is completely inconsistent with the usual style of the lighthouse country. And the detailed information of Shen Qingling let Subei know the reason. Shen Qingling sent a message: according to our investigation, the food crisis broke out in the lighthouse country this time, and the dark tribes are doing the trick. They supported some island owners and monopolized the grain trade of the lighthouse country. Ordinary people who can't go down are summoned to the island world. 39 Shen Qingling. In addition to those island owners who are gathering ordinary people, many churches are also active, transferring people to the island world in the name of relief. Subei, they are carrying out their previous plan to transport ordinary people to the dark people. Combined with this abyss warning, I have reason to believe that not only the puppets of the dark people are at the top of the lighthouse country, but some people even take refuge in the abyss demons. Shen Qingling, although there is no direct evidence, it can be roughly assumed. Subei, it's really a house leak and it rains overnight, and the lighthouse country is in complete chaos, and there is no countermeasure. 35 Shen Qingling, not really. Not everyone is willing to take refuge in the dark race, but the situation is chaotic. Coupled with the food crisis, at least hundreds of thousands of ordinary people will be transferred to the island in the next month. World, Subei, so many people, even if only half of them finally reach the territory of the dark race, it is not a trivial matter. The most important thing is how the dark race is going to use these ordinary people. 35 Shen Qingling. According to the report of our spies who entered the damned sect, there is a descending ceremony that can integrate the devil's soul into the flesh and blood. Subei, and then based on those people, build anchors, and finally let the abyss channel reopen? Shen Qingling, we can't be sure for the time being. We have found the arrival ceremony, but we haven't figured out how to deploy it in the future. We can only say that it is very likely. Subei, with such a big movement in the lighthouse country, didn't other forces be alerted? Shen Qingling, this is the second thing I want to tell you. Blue Star not only had a food crisis, but also a war between several forces. 99 Shen Qingling, on the bright side, this is a local conflict caused by the food issue, but after we traced the information, we found that the churches in the lighthouse country played a disgraceful role in it. Subei, it seems that their next target is war refugees. Shen Qingling, we have tried our best to control the situation, but the food shortage is not easy to solve. Sube, I can share with you a little of the food I have stored in Zig, and the price is the same as usual, so I won't ask you for more money. Shen Qingling, on behalf of the special team, I would like to express my gratitude to you. Sube, don't say polite words. I just hope that there will be no people who take the opportunity to make a fortune. 99 Shen Qingling, you can rest assured, the special team has the authority to kill, and the chaos should be used heavily. Sube, I will also make people pay attention to this matter. Beacon Nation, if there is any new news, remember to notify me. Shen Qingling, no problem. Sube turned off the chat bar, feeling rather heavy. The play of the lighthouse state is as stable as ever. Good things do not have them. Bad things are bound to happen. Along with the ordinary people of Blue Star being continuously transferred to the island world, and with the help of a descending ceremony, the opening time of the Abyss Passage will continue to advance. Half a year is just an extravagant hope. Sube can't change the overall situation. After all, he can't kill the lighthouse country and kill all those traitors. What he can do is to maximize his own strength and the island world. It starts with the eradication of the Kangaroo Island. Starting from the Mermaid territory, along the way, you will encounter 10 islands of other forces, with a total area of more than 200 square kilometers. The closest one, which will arrive in 2 days, is the island of Kangaroo Country. The Kangaroo Nation is also a veteran of the Lighthouse Nation, and they have also contributed a lot to the Blue Star turmoil this time. Further ahead, there are many islands such as Bangtsai Country, Fune Country, and Lighthouse Country. What Sube has to do is to lift all these islands, leaving none of them untouched. Chapter 315 Gemcat Transformation. At the same time when the 2 new attack ships were launched, Sube also arrived at the target area, which is the island of the Kangaroo Country. From a distance, the area is about 15 square kilometers, not too big, but definitely not small. And the other party obviously found Sube, and shouted directly in the chat area, trying to put pressure on Sube. But would Sube care? Not at all. He doesn't even look at the chat area. Attack. 35 Sube stood on the main island and gave orders. Then, the energy cannon began to roar. The 2 fleets left the port from the left and right, circled to the side of the island, and washed the ground with energy cannons. In order to avoid the fleet being overwhelmed, Sube opened a second port. It is also convenient for the Black Elves to board the ship. This battle is completely one-sided, crushing. This Kangaroo Country island has not even activated the ability to move. It is completely a fixed target. And the opponent's energy cannon is not enough range, can only be beaten. I really couldn't stand a few counterattacks, except for a few water columns. There was absolutely no result at all. On the sea, the energy cannon roared. The chat area is also very lively. The island owner of Kangaroo Country strongly condemned Sube's injustice. Everyone is from the Blue Star, so why bother? There is something to discuss. The island owner of the Lighthouse Country is fanning the flames, hoping that the situation will further expand. The rest of the island owners have sarcastic words, fish in troubled waters, and advocates of reflection. Anyway, there are all kinds of people. The Dragon Country Island Lord as a whole is still unanimous. As the pawn of the Lighthouse Country, the Kangaroo Country has often caused trouble for the Dragon Country. Now Sube has started to eradicate the island owners of Kangaroo Country, which has won unanimous praise. Moreover, these island owners said that everyone was from the Blue Star, but the small movements behind their backs never stopped. Their mobile island, but they attacked the Dragon Kingdom Island a lot. Sube just did the same thing. These people are fearful but not virtuous, and there is nothing to negotiate with them. Just subdue them directly. The hustle and bustle in the chat area could not interfere with Sube at all. Half an hour after the battle, the owner of Kangaroo Country ran away. He sold all the island supplies, and after detonating the energy cannon, he teleported back to Blue Star. Seeing this situation, Sube felt that in the follow-up battle, it was necessary to execute a beheading operation and directly kill those island owners, so as not to affect his property. When the flames subsided, The spirit of the island began to merge and absorb the island. The area of Subei's island has exceeded 200 square kilometers, and even the power of the spirit of the island has been greatly improved. This time, the fusion island took only 5 hours to start anew. The rest of the work can be done on the road. The route has been set, and Subei does not need to keep an eye on it. He's been busy with another thing recently. That is, the entry of the gem cat is refreshed and fixed. Subei has been refreshing his entries since he knew that this guy might be related to Lady Luck. It's a pity that for several days, there are no high-grade ones. It even made Subei wonder if this product is the messenger of the goddess of luck. If so, where is the luck? Not to mention myth-level entries, at least a legendary level entry. The result was a bunch of white and green entries, which almost made Subei unconfident. Fortunately, a new change finally appeared today. The orange glow appeared. Lucky Halo. Legendary. Improve the luck of yourself and surrounding creatures. Subei smiled. A few days of hard work has not been in vain, and this entry alone has made a lot of money. The appearance of this entry also made Subei feel that the gem cat and the goddess of luck are indeed related. But what about their relationship? Under the system, loyalty is directly locked, so there is no need to worry at all. Fixed. At the moment when the entry was fixed, Subei felt that the gem cat made a strange wave that quickly swept across the entire island. Before Subei could savor it, he received a report from Yvette. The mermaid patrol found more than a dozen platinum-level water cannon turtles, and they have arranged for the strong ones to tame them. Immediately afterwards, Eve sent news through the spirit of the island. She has successfully constructed a spell magic pattern of the 1st to 4th order, which can improve the strength of legal combatants. Before that, the magic pattern in this area was blank. Only the 5th order spell magic pattern on Eve's arm. Eve has been researching, but not progressing well. Now, finally, there is good news. Subei complimented a few words, then turned his eyes to the blank-faced jewel cat. Good guy. Subei called the good guy directly. Lucky Halo. So terrifying. I just fixed the entry, and I have such a harvest. Over time, the benefits will become more apparent. At the keynote where the thread of the abyss passage hangs overhead, the appearance of the Lucky Halo is undoubtedly a relief. Subei looked at the gem cat and continued to refresh. There is a third entry waiting to be fixed. Pop, and soon, the orange light reappears. But this time, Subei's expression was a little puzzled. Transformation. Legendary. Transforms the gem cat into a cat-haired girl. Subei looked at the gem cat and asked subconsciously, "Are you a mother?" Meow. The hair on the jewel cat's back stood up, showing an alert posture. Subei sounded another thing. So far, the gem cat has not said a word. The spirit of the island can even help the elemental creatures on the island to express their inner emotions. But at that time, the gem cat was still meowing. After more than 2 months of slumber, a new legendary entry was fixed, and the result was still meowing. This made Subei seriously suspect that this guy can't speak in cat form. The appearance of morphological entries may be able to solve this problem. Maybe you can learn more about the goddess of luck through this. Thinking of this, Subei looked at the gem cat and decided to choose a fixed entry. The jewel cat originally wanted to sneak away, but was enveloped by the power of transformation. The pure white light ball is formed around the gem cat. The spirit of the island condensed his body, looked at the ball of light and muttered, "Master, I have a familiar feeling." Subei nodded. "You and jewel cat are of the same origin. It's normal to feel that way." While speaking, Winnie and other strong men also gathered. They sensed strange fluctuations. Subei talked about the situation, and everyone was amazed. As expected of the island owner, even the cat is not spared. No, even a cat can do it. Even though they have followed Subei for a long time, they are still amazed. After all, granting extra abilities, and gem cat-like people, these are completely two concepts. The crowd didn't wait too long, and the sphere of light around the gem cat began to fade away. Immediately afterwards, the cat-seer girl, who was 1 meter 6 tall, appeared in everyone's field of vision. The hair is black and bright, the skin is fair, the body is petite, and the emerald green eyes are pure and flawless, Like the rarest gem. The overall shape is biased towards the human form. If it is not with a tail behind it and cat ears on its head, it is really no different from a human being. Winnie's eyes and hands were quick. She grabbed the cloth from the side and wrapped it around the transformed gemcat. Subei's focus is not here, but looking at the new panel of the gemcat. Name: Jewel Cat, Girl Class, Agent Grade, Platinum. Intermediate Skills: 1. Little Luck, 2. True Vision, 3. Treasure Hunt, 4. Power Word. Loyalty: 100. Entry: Skill Optimization, Superior Level, Lucky Aura, Legendary Level, Transformation, Legendary Level. Description: the messenger of the goddess of luck. How to say that is unexpected and reasonable. Restraining his mind, Subei said, "Now, you can speak." The gemcat shook its ears and said with a proud look, "I am the messenger of the goddess of luck, the agent of the oracle, and mortals must not be rude." Subei gave Jewel Cat an angry look and said, "Speak human words." The gemcat was immediately discouraged, his ears were drooping, and he said in distress, "I can't remember anything, including where it came from and what tasks I have. I forgot all." Subei was helpless. Well, this stuff is hopeless. Chapter 316. Breaking Another Island. The gemcat turned into a cat-ear girl, which did not change Subei's life much. After careful cross-examination, Subei determined that the sky really doesn't know anything. However, Subei's island is not short of this bite, and the gemcat remains on the island without any effect. Can't eat him. On the other hand, the gemcat is the messenger of the goddess of luck, and such an unstable factor is obviously not as good as the peace of mind that is placed under his own eyes. Before things are clear, let the gemcat continue to play its role and contribute to the island with the power of the lucky halo. Meanwhile, Jewel Cat's memory recovery work, Subei handed over to Helena. Helena gave the gemcat a name for the first time, called Lucy. Subei has no opinion. In fact, according to his ideas, it should be called Zhao. After all, the Jewel Cat was all black at the beginning, and couldn't find the slightest variegation. Speaking of which, after the gemcat was transformed into 790s, the skin was pure white, completely different from the black one before. If it wasn't for her black hair, Subei would have wondered if she had changed her cat. All I can say is that the world is really amazing. Jewel Cat doesn't have much idea about her name, but Lucy and Zhao, she can still distinguish good from bad. She chose Lucy decisively. Lucy's appearance, although it did not bring direct and effective intelligence. But her attribute panel still revealed a lot of information. The most notable one is the rank of agent. This is different from the representative of the ordinary church. The agent of the church is more inclined to the position of pastor or missionary. And Lucy's agent has real power. Especially the new skill of power word, which can be said to follow the law. According to the test, Lucy can use power word to improve the target's attack and defense speed and many other attributes. It can also suppress the target and reduce its attributes. Coupled with her platinum intermediate level, the combat power is not weak. Of course, Subei didn't plan to put Lucy on the battlefield. Feel free to add a buff at the back. Also, Subei is not sure if the fight will have any unseen effects on Lucy. It is very unfavorable if this brings about unknown changes. Subei instructed the spirit of the island to keep an eye on Lucy's movements. If anything unexpected happens, notify him immediately. At that time, Subei will reveal his thunderous tactics and eliminate all hidden dangers. Even if the other party is the goddess of luck, Subei is not afraid. Fortunately, so far, Lucy's behavior has been normal. Through the system, Subei can also perceive the location and status of the other party. That's how to relax a little. But Subei knew that the system wouldn't refresh the entry transfiguration for no reason. It must have some deep meaning. And Lucy just lost her memory. When she came to the island world, she definitely came with a mission. As for the task, we can only wait for Lucy to regain her memory. According to Helena's research, Lucy's memory is blocked, not completely lost. As for the unlocking conditions, it is very likely that the level reaches a certain node. This coincides with Subei's guess. If the goddess of luck wants to use Lucy to achieve a certain purpose, it must need a little strength, otherwise it would not be funny to be shot to death in the middle. However, Lucy is already at the platinum intermediate level, and there is still no movement. It is estimated that she will have to be promoted to the diamond level or even the star level before she can make new discoveries. It takes time. Sube also stopped paying too much attention. Instead, move on and push the island along the way. After merging the Kangaroo Island, Sube arrived at the second island after 2 days of sailing. This is an island of Fusion Kingdom, with an area of 20 square kilometers, and its strength is much stronger than the previous island of Kangaroo Kingdom. Not only has the fleet, but the rank of the island owner is also platinum. After discovering Sube, the island owner of Fusion Kingdom was also very hard-hearted, decisively broke off the battle, and dispatched his fleet. Although they were all refitted from merchant ships, they were also equipped with energy cannons, which had certain attack capabilities. However, this kind of warship, when facing the official warship, can only deliver food. The Shaishan attacked with a single ship, and exploded all the dozens of warships in the confrontation. Sube is too lazy to recover such a warship. Even an attack ship can't beat it. It is worthless. As for the energy cannon on the ship, it will be recovered after the war. Although the casting process is unqualified, the barrel material is still useful and cannot be wasted. Seeing that his fleet turned into a torch on the sea, Yumiko Matsu, the island owner of Fusion Kingdom, lashed out in the chat area. Only then did the other island owners realize that Sube had gone to attack the island again after 2 days in peace. The chat area was turbulent, but the battle on the sea was drawing to a close. While defeating the fleet, Sube resolutely landed on the island and slashed Yushinko Matsu's head. The teleportation light enveloped the entire island, and the inhabitants of the island were teleported back to Blue Star. Thanks to the efficient beheading operation, Komatsu Yazen only had time to sell a small half of his assets, most of which are still on the island. Now, it's all in Sube's bag. The experience of the island owner of Fusion Country naturally caused strong repercussions in Fusion. But it is limited to repercussions and no actual actions. Now that there is a food crisis all over Blue Star, if you want to make trouble, you have to eat enough. Fuso Country itself is small in size, and its population has exploded. More than half of its food is imported. In the current situation, money cannot buy food. There are daily protests in Fusion. Now the island owner has broken it, and it has not even caused any waves. For ordinary people, they have no chance to go to the island world. The island owner is immortal, and it has nothing to do with them. Even think from a dark angle. Well, why do they suffer in Blue Star? Those island owners are happy in the island world. The island owner, Komatsu, you really died, and that's it. It wasn't until 2 days later that the owner of the Lighthouse Country also met Sube. There was an island owner who calculated Sube's forward route and found that he was heading towards the Nugget territory, and was immediately shocked. Others can't avoid the Nugget clan. That is a strong clan that senior island owners dare not provoke easily. Sube actually took the initiative to come to the door. Confidence, or ignorance. Judging from the current situation, the former is more likely. According to the confessions of survivors of the breached island, Sube's strength is very exaggerated. Even a platinum-level island owner can't stand a single move under his hands. As long as he landed on the island, the island owner must be hacked to death, and the battle ended directly. 2.5 The news that Sube went to look for Naga made many island owners relieved. They were really afraid that Sube would start a killing spree and kill wherever he went. Since it is on the way to find Naga to break through the island, there is no need to worry. Without affecting their own interests, the attitude of the island owners changed again. They even started speculating whether Sube could beat the Naga. As for those hapless island owners who were on the path, no one cared about their lives. Can't quite say that. After all, they still have a lot of assets on the island. Many island owners inquired about the price and indicated that they could take part of the order. The island owners were so angry that their noses were crooked. But more is a strong sense of powerlessness. They knew that Sube was coming to their island and Sube's plans. But there is no resistance. This is the most desperate. Chapter 317, The Battle of the Trapped Beasts. When people are desperate, it is easy to make unwise decisions. This is the case with several island owners along Sube's path. After deliberation, They unanimously decided to join the Naga tribe. Of course, the two closest to the Naga actually colluded with the Naga clan for a long time. This is also impossible. Naga are not as easy to talk as mermaids. When they are discovered, they will either die or surrender. The two island owners have successively provided Naga with many ordinary people. In return, they get resources. When attacked by demonized monsters, Naga will even help them defend. Now, knowing that Sube was approaching the Naga territory, the two island owners immediately tipped off the news, and at the same time contacted several other island owners to form an offensive and defensive alliance. After the Naga queen learned the news, she was naturally furious, and decisively dispatched a large army to intercept it along the way. Based on the newly surrendered island, demonized monsters gather, waiting for Sube to surrender himself. In addition, the Naga queen also sent a message to the king of tide giants to prepare for a joint siege. All this, Sube did not know. In fact, even if he knew, it would not be touched. Because these are early in the plan. If the Naga did not respond, it would be beyond Sube's expectations. After defeating the Fusion Islands 17, after a 3-day voyage, Sube arrived at the third island. It was also here that he met the Naga. This is a Bangtsai country island. The island owner has recruited many ordinary people from the Bangtsai country and gave them to the Naga as gifts. Naga ate half of it on the spot, and the rest was transported back to the territory to be handled by the queen. The handling of the Naga queen is also very simple. First leave half of them as rations, and give the rest to the cursed sect and let them perform the descending ceremony. Speaking of which, ordinary people in these countries are also miserable. After being eaten by 3/4, the remaining survivors fell into the hands of the cursed sect, and life was better than death. Standing on the main island, Sube looked at the demonized monsters on the sea and the Naga figures underwater, not surprised at all. Kill. 35 Without the slightest hesitation, Sube directly gave the attack order. The demonized monster roared and rushed forward, and was sent directly to the sky by the energy cannon. For this kind of battle, the members of the island are already very familiar with it. Don't even need Sube to give orders, complete his tasks in an orderly manner. Along the way, in addition to strengthening the island with entries, Sube's main thing is to form a staff. In this battle, he is not ready to command, and it is all handed over to the staff. This island is relatively far from the Naga territory. When the Naga arrived here, Sube came as soon as the 4-foot arrived. As a result, Naga did not have time to gather too many demonized monsters, and the offensive was very sparse. Under the mobilization of the staff, the combat troops were rotated and experienced the atmosphere of actual combat. Then, Sube rushed directly to the opposite island, killing the island owner and the Naga commander directly. Naga fled and was captured by the mermaid patrol and became a prisoner. With a flick of the domination ring, the Naga was successfully conquered, with a total of 500. The old rules, dispatched directly to the 4th fortress, and responsible for underwater battles with the Shark clan. Subsequently, Sube began to clean up the island. Taking pictures of the bones on the coast as evidence and handing it to Shen Qingling, Sube felt that he didn't need to worry about the rest. With the ability of the Special Task Force, it is completely possible to hype these news in Bangtsai country. Enough to make them mess up. Sube began to patrol the island and take stock of the harvest. It was probably the appearance of the Naga tribe that made this Bangtsai island owner feel that he was okay again, and he did not sell too many assets. But it turns out that it doesn't work. Damn, or have to die. Looking at the plants that died and withered under the erosion of demonic energy, Sube was so heartbroken that he couldn't breathe. These are all his money. Cleaning and fusion took 6 hours. The main island is this Bangtsai country, which is not small in size, nearly 30 square kilometers. That is to say, I met Sube. Otherwise, in the nearby waters, it can be regarded as a firm foothold. But now, it has become a thing of the past. Starting from this third island and going all the way, Sube encounters Naga every time he arrives at a new island. But Sube not only lost nothing, but also added strength. Like a demonized monster, Sube has no interest in subduing it, and kills all the recycled materials. And the Naga tribe will not let it go. Under the action of the domination ring, The initial control is completed, and then the strong ones are selected and strengthened with entries. After that, every 2 or 3 days, Sube will lay down new islands and capture new Naga. The area of his main island is also growing steadily. Not only that, but even with the island raiding, it began to soar. After conquering the 4 islands, the total area of Sube's islands exceeded 350 square kilometers, and the island rating exceeded 80,000 stars. To this end, the first and last 2 forging workshops were fully operational, and new propulsion turbines were installed to assist the movement of the island. Others feel that their island is not big enough, and try their best to increase the area. But Sube was troubled by the fact that the promotion was too fast and there were too many open spaces. After continuous integration, the main island has even opened up the 4th ring area. The aborigines of all ethnic groups were so busy that their feet could not touch the ground, and they reclaimed a lot, so that the farmland was worthy of being fully planted. Even so, they couldn't breathe a sigh of relief. Often, the plants on this side need to be harvested as soon as they are planted. One warehouse after another was built. No way, on the island of Sube, the growth rate of plants is too fast. Many farmlands are still planted with ordinary plants such as potatoes, corn, and sweet potatoes, which are harvested one after another and cannot be stopped at all. With so much food, the members of the island alone cannot finish it. Sube didn't stay much, and most of them were sold to the special team. Under the circumstances of the food crisis in Blue Star, Longo was stunned to maintain a relatively stable state. Food prices have also risen, but compared to other forces that have risen several times, it has been much better. Here, Sube has a great role to play. 790 His island output made the special team look stupid. Is this what the newcomer's island can do? Isn't it too outrageous? However, Sube's own development has not fallen behind despite planting common plants. The second ring area of the main island, together with part of the third switching area, are all planted with fruit trees of various attributes. Every day, a large number of supernatural fruit trees mature, transported to the alchemy room, and transformed into supernatural potions. In addition to being used by the power users on the island, it will also be sold in the trading center, or packaged to the special task force. In the current transaction, in addition to conventional materials, Sube also accepts various aboriginal people. As long as it is not the weak and outrageous kind, it will be accepted. When these aboriginal people arrived on the island, the first thing they did was to change their beliefs and accept the baptism of the Hope Society. The growing Hope Club, the daily prayers, further enhance Sube's strength. Before breaking through 10 islands and reaching the core Nugget territory, Sube was promoted to the top platinum. The next step is to advance to the diamond level. During this period, the 4th monthly Rookie King evaluation was also carried out. The result is no suspense. Sube harvested the gold level treasure chest again, and opened 3 blood spirit fruit tree seeds from it. On the 4th day that Sube obtained the blood spirit fruit tree, he arrived at the Nugget defense circle. At the same time, he also met 2-star level powerhouses. The Nugget Queen of Xinyao Senior, and the King of Tide Giants of Xinyao Intermediate. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 318 Easily Suppressed. The appearance of the Nugget Queen and the King of Tide Giants did not surprise Sube. This is already the core defense circle of Naga. It is strange that Nugget does not respond. Facing the Nugget Queen, Sube waved his hand and let the Nugget under his command go into battle. This is called using violence to control violence. Queen Nugget saw her clansmen turn against each other, her expression distorted with anger. Human, I want you to die. 9 The curse of the Nugget Queen floated on the sea, kicking off the battle. As the leader, Queen Naga will definitely not shoot directly. The tens of thousands of Naga warriors under his command are not just looking at it. That is to say, in order to support those islands, Queen Naga sent some people out, otherwise the soldiers under her hands would be even more, at least 15,000. To be honest, At this time, Queen Naga has some regrets. Knowing this, she would not have sent people to consume Subei along the way. Consumption was unsuccessful, but instead increased the opponent's strength. But this can't blame the Naga Queen. She also didn't expect that Subei would have something like a dominance ring in his hand. Moreover, the domination ring in Subei's hand has been strengthened 3 times, from the original star quality to the current supreme quality. The core effect has not changed, but the number of controllable targets has been greatly increased. In this way, Subei can control the growing number of subordinates. Especially the newly conquered Naga. There are more than 3,000. If it is the basic domination ring, it has reached the upper limit of domination. But now, there's still room to spare. While thinking about it, the Naga on both sides began to fight. In a battle of this level, if the top powerhouses do not make a move, the outcome will largely depend on which side has the most people. Just looking at the number of Naga, then it must be the Queen of Naga. But Subei's subordinates are not only Naga. Of course, the Naga Queen's subordinates are also not only Naga. There are also tidal giants who help in the battle, as well as demonized monsters who have been summoned, and even abyss octopuses. The battle was heated from the very beginning. On the island, all combat troops have been dispatched. This time the battle was mainly focused on the surface and underwater. The Wood Elf Sky Guard has room to play at will. Bursting arrows and cluster bombs wreak havoc on the water, picking up wreckage and mutilated limbs each time. The 600 Sky Guards completed fire coverage and gained a lot. Boom. The surface of the water exploded, and tenacious tentacles protruded out of the water, slapping the fortress island fiercely. But then it was blasted off by the energy cannon. Along the way, the energy cannon was the most forged in the forge. Especially the underwater bastion, with hundreds of doors. At this time, the fire continued, and the incoming Naga was smashed into pieces. Compared with Naga, the threat of tidal giants is actually greater. They are burly physique, thick scales, innately have a strong defense. It can even reach the level of hard resistance to energy cannons. When the battle situation was completely stabilized, Subei took off the Longian sword and prepared to start. No need to bleed too much here. Not to mention the combat troops of the island for the time being. Naga and tidal giants as enemies will eventually become his subordinates, but they can't die too much. If you want to end the battle quickly, you still have to conquer the Naga Queen and the King of Tide Giants. Subei's fighting spirit was sensed by the 2-star level powerhouses on the opposite side. With hatred on her face, the Naga Queen, together with the King of Tide Giants, came to fight. As soon as the 3 top powerhouses met, they didn't talk nonsense and started fighting directly. Subei is ready to subdue the Queen of Naga and the King of Tide Giants by force, shaking the hearts of the army and making it easier to capture the captives. If you come up with a fixed entry, you can't let ordinary Naga and tidal giants feel despair. Even make them desperately resist. That was not Subei's intention. In order to implement the plan more conveniently, the Naga Queen and the King of Tide Giants can only suffer. With the top-level strength of Subei Platinum, it is not difficult to confront the 2-star level stars head-on. The Longian knife shone with cold light, slicing the thick scales of the King of Tidal Giants. Then bang bang kicked the big guy back to the sea from mid-air. Queen Naga didn't even look at it. She threw lightning with her backhand. Subei returned with a knife, shattering thunder. The Naga Queen has a headache. The strength of this human has exceeded expectations. Is it reasonable that the mere platinum rank can actually fight back and forth with the 2 of them, the Zinye rank? The Queen Naga was still in shock, and the King of Tidal Giants had floated up from the sea and launched an attack furiously. Subei laughed twice, and it used to be a punch and kick. The King of Tidal Giants, who was more than 10 meters tall, was beaten so hard that he couldn't find the north. There were other tidal giants who wanted to come to support, but Subei was blown away by a punch and lay unconscious on the sea. This is still Subei's hand. Otherwise the tidal giant will be torn apart with one punch. The King of Tide Giants was beaten up, but instead sobered up. He found that the situation was not very good, and he thought of running away with a bucket. After all, this battle has little to do with the tidal giants. This human is here to find Naga. He just wants to beat the autumn wind and carve up Subei's island. Rather than to die. Although I don't know why Subei was able to resist the two of them with the strength of platinum level. But it doesn't matter. The important thing is that if you fight again, he will be dead. The king of tidal giants had the intention to retreat, and his aura inevitably became vain, and his offensive was not as fierce as before. Queen Naga immediately noticed his thoughts and scolded, "Don't think about escaping. The only way to escape is to fight to the end." 35 The king of tide giants shouted that there was no problem, but his eyes were rolling around. He was looking for escape routes. Unfortunately, if he wants to run, he has to ask Subei if he agrees. Subei naturally would not agree. The demon binding chains were thrown out, binding the king of tide giants firmly. Then he punched hard, knocking him unconscious. Such a scene made the other tidal giant shudder. Too violent. Queen Naga saw an opportunity. Subei fights with her while maintaining the demon binding chains, and will definitely be affected. This is her chance. Human, you dare to be distracted in battle. You really don't know how to live or die. Down you goes. The Naga Queen sneered and taunted, and the lightning skills were thrown out. The Naga Queen's plan is good. It was a pity to meet Subei. The Longian sword was swung so tinily that no lightning hit him. It's impossible to just get beaten up and not fight back. Subei decisively killed the Naga Queen. Of course, the king of tide giants did not forget to mention it. This guy is still pretending to be dizzy, waiting for an opportunity to run away, thinking he doesn't know it's a joke. As soon as Subei rushed forward, Queen Naga felt the pressure and immediately called up a guard to intercept it. "Get out of the way." With a low drink, Subei directly bumped into it. The guards fell from the air spraying blood. Magic, binding chains. With a flick of the chain, Queen Naga was also controlled. The atmosphere of the battlefield was a little different. The Naga and the tidal giants began to think about a problem. The leaders were all caught by donkeys. So, are they surrendering? Or are they surrendering? Chapter 319 Conquer the Naga Queen, the island's first supreme class, defeating 2-star level stars in a head-to-head confrontation, and using the entry to make them bow down. The visual impact is completely different. For example, now, Subei holds 2 demon binding chains, suppressing the Naga Queen and the King of Tide Giants. This scene directly defeated the psychological defenses of Naga and the Tidal Giants. Despair spread in their hearts. I don't know who roared, and the battle situation collapsed directly. Naga and the Tidal Giant left their opponents directly, turned their heads and ran. It was this moment that Subei was waiting for, and he sent orders directly to capture the prisoners with all his strength. Afterwards, Subei looked at Queen Naga and said with a smile, "Thanks to you, otherwise where would I find so many tidal giants?" The king of tidal giants, who was pretending to be dead, immediately widened his eyes and roared, "Eudora, you are plotting against me." Eudora is the name of the Naga Queen. At this time, hearing the roar of the king of giants of the tide, Eudora was so angry that her nose was crooked. This idiot, doesn't he understand human language? Naga Queen Eudora screamed, "Garcia, if you didn't just think about running away, how could we have lost so badly?" The arrogance of Garcia, the king of tidal giants, dropped a little, and then he became furious again. In the face of a strong enemy, it is necessary to save one's life. On the contrary, it was this Eudora who dragged their tidal giant clan into this battle, and as a result, they were caught in one pot, which is really damn good. If it hadn't been controlled, Garcia would have jumped up and punched Eudora's head. Seeing that the two Zinja level powerhouses were going to have an infighting, Su 790 Bay decisively refreshed their entries. Anyway, it's also a star, so let's talk about it. Garcia, the king of tidal giants, was short-tempered, so he stabilized him first. Refresh. Orange. Light flashes. Anti-magic scales. Legendary. Reduces magic damage received by 60%. To say that the biggest weakness of the tidal giant family is that the magic resistance is not high. This is why Garcia is willing to come to support. He couldn't beat the Naga Queen Eudora, and if he didn't agree, he would be hung up and hammered. Now there are anti-magic scales, and the weakness is greatly compensated. Fixed. Thing. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 155. Garcia was still roaring and roaring, with a look of swearing to death. But as the entry was fixed, it settled down immediately. The scales on the body begin to fall off, and new scales grow in a short time. Sube loosened the demon binder chains on Garcia's body. Naga Queen Eudora wanted to make mockery at first, but she saw Garcia respectfully salute Sube, her voice filled with panic. "My lord, please forgive my offense." Garcia now regrets killing himself at the thought of fighting Sube just now. Really insane. Sube waved his hand generously and said, "Don't talk about the past. Now go to help gather your clan, and don't cause unnecessary casualties again." As ordered. Garcia strode away. Eudora was dumbfounded, and immediately reacted. Her face twisted, and she screamed, "Human, you can never change my mind." Sube smiled. When it was in his hands, Queen Naga couldn't help it. Refresh. 35. Still the orange glow. Sube is very satisfied. It seems that he can create 2 super strong, lightning heart, legendary level. The damage and effect of lightning skills are increased by 5 times. Fixed. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 100. There was resistance on the face of the Naga Queen Eudora, but in the end she returned to calm. Sube untied the demon binding chains, and Eudora saluted respectfully, "See my lord." 35. Sube nodded and gave Eudora an order, "Go and gather your clan." As ordered. Eudora also got up and went. With the addition of these 2 leaders, the subduing work is much simpler. Although some Naga and title giants are still stubborn, but under the heavy blow, they quickly return to their hometowns and no longer have to worry. An hour later, the battlefield was cleared. The remaining troops of the Naga and the title giants were also gathered. After the battle and the follow-up cleanup, there are still 6,000 Naga warriors and 2,000 title giants. With a flick of the domination ring, all were subdued. Leave the powerhouses above the platinum level and send the rest to the 4th fortress. Now, it's time to continue refreshing Garcia and Eudora's entries. Sube looked at Eudora, the Naga Queen. Refresh. Orange. Light flashed one after another. For the 2nd and 3rd entries, legend level, BHCF, options appeared. Thundercloud Storm. Legendary, get Thundercloud Storm skill Thunder Master. Legendary, get S-Class Professional Thunder Master Inheritance. Counting the previous Lightning Heart entries, Naga Queen Eudora will have 3 legendary entries. This luck is also quite good. Thinking of luck, Sube's heart moved. It's not Eudora's luck, it's his luck. Lucy's lucky halo, the Jewel Cat, is in effect. It seems that the probability of high-grade entries appearing in the future will be higher, Sube secretly said. 2 new entries for Eudora were subsequently fixed. Fixed Thundercloud Storm. Eudora was elevated to the top of Starlight. When the Thunder Master is fixed, Eudora's level begins to improve further, moving towards the supreme level above the Starlight level. Eudora let out a shriek, and the magic power in her body rolled turbulently, even triggering wind and thunder. Boom. On the dark sea, the wind suddenly rose, and the silver snake danced wildly. Eudora urged the magic power to impact the rank boundary, and finally reached the critical point. Unprecedented strong aura began to permeate. The overwhelming pressure made the air freeze. In the sea area with a radius of hundreds of miles, those demonized monsters with insufficient levels fled in a hurry, not daring to stay at all. Sube couldn't help but be startled. The supreme rank is so powerful, and the sanctuary rank that goes up should be Hiwili. Subsequent demigods, and even the realm of gods. I am afraid that it is completely possible to turn your hands into clouds and cover your hands into rain, and destroy the sky and destroy the earth in just one thought. While thinking about it, Eudora's magic power fluctuations began to calm down. The Naga Queen has initially mastered her own strength, and her expression is very happy. "Thank you, my lord, for the gift." Eudora saluted respectfully. The scales on her body began to fade, and the tentacles below the waist also quietly disintegrated, recondensing slender legs. The previous Eudora had a ferocious face. At this time, in just a short moment, She has become a peerless beauty. Sube was shocked. The entry even comes with beauty abilities. Outrageous. Eudora gathered her robe with magic power, covered her body, and saluted Sube again to express her gratitude. Also explained her changes. After being promoted to the supreme level, she can reshape her body and change her image at her own will. Sube was stunned, and at the same time was amazed. It is worthy of being a supreme powerhouse that has surpassed the star level, and he can even do such a thing. However, Sube is also happy to see such a change. Compared with the previous image, Eudora at this time is undoubtedly much more seductive. Immediately, Sube looked at Garcia. Refresh. Still, 2 orange lights, divine warriors, legendary, enhances strength attributes, and has additional suppressing ability for shield skills. Colossus, legendary level, improve body size, fixed. With the blessing of the 2 new legendary entries, Garcia has been promoted to the top level of Xinyao. At the same time, his body has increased, his height has exceeded 15 meters, and various attributes have been greatly improved. It's a pity not to be promoted to the supreme rank, but Sube is already very satisfied. Chapter 320, Cursed Sect Alchemy Room. The Naga Queen, Eudora, was promoted to the supreme level, directly dispelling all the dissatisfied thoughts of the Naga. Even without the Ring of Dominion, they would not leave. The same goes for the Tidal Giants. After they saw their leader jump directly from Xinyao Intermediate to Xinyao Top, they were envious they couldn't move their legs anymore. For the Dark Race, stronger strength is their lifelong pursuit. Now the shortcut to upgrade the level is in front of you, so why resist? What the ordinary Naga and the Tidal Giant thought was that they would be able to obtain this gift at any time. In the battle just now, they discovered the difference between their opponents. The mermaids, who were once evenly matched with them, can now rub them against the ground. Even the sharks can fight them back and forth. Naga thinks this is not possible. After all, they are also ranked among the top of the Dark Clan, and they lost so thoroughly as a result. It seems that there is no future for mixing with the Dark Race. The darkness must be cast aside. Such thoughts swirled in the minds of the Naga and the Tidal Giants, and coupled with the catalysis of the Ring of Domination, their loyalty immediately increased. After Sube strengthened Eudora and Garcia, he fixed the entries for the strong men of Naga and Tidal Giants. The only pity was that the diamond-level powerhouses of these 2 tribes were directly killed in the previous battle with Winnie and the others. But the battle was urgent, and Sube couldn't let Winnie and the others risk capturing the other side. Mainly, Sube didn't expect that the diamond rank of Naga and Tidal Giant would be so unbearable, and they were directly beaten by seconds. You can only retrain yourself. Fortunately, although the diamond level has been eliminated, there are still many platinum level powerhouses of the 2 families. According to the level, start with the 5 platinum tops. After some refreshes, Sube added 5 diamonds, 3 Naga and 2 Tidal Giants, all of which were intermediate diamonds. Then, it's platinum premium. There are 6 promoted to the diamond level, although only the diamond level is lower, but compared to the previous diamond level Naga, the strength is not a little or 2. It belongs to the crushing spike. The remaining platinum intermediates and platinum juniors can only suspend their strengthening until tomorrow. There is no set number of times. With many newly promoted diamonds in charge of maintaining order, there was nothing wrong with the landing of Naga and the Tidal Giants. The only trouble may be that the 4th fort is slightly crowded. However, as the area increases, it will soon be relieved, and it is not a big problem. The addition of 6,000 Naga and 2,000 Tidal Giants swelled the strength of the island, but also brought many additional problems. Like daily consumption, it needs to be followed up in time. Naga is a dark clan whose entire population is a soldier, and there is no old or weak in the clan. Those individuals have been eliminated in endless battles. Tidal Giants are similar. They are so large that the elderly will leave the pack and hunt alone in the deep sea until they die. The Naga and Tidal Giants that Sube subdued are all warriors. The strength is strong, and the consumption is also large. To this end, a 3rd artificial lake needs to be opened on the main island. But these are all trivial details. Dueling and the others will give a plan. Sube only needs to make a final decision. Sube has more concerns now. Calling Eudora and Garcia to the front, Subei asked. Is there a base of the cult of the damned nearby? Eudora replied. Report to my lord. Yes, we just shipped the goods a few days ago. Subei knew that the so-called goods were ordinary Blue Star people. However, there is no dragon country in it, so Subei will not hold Eudora and Garcia accountable. To put it further, the value of 100,000 ordinary people is not as good as Garcia. Not to mention the supreme level Eudora. Collecting his thoughts, Subei said, how far is it? How strong is it? Eudora found out the map and said while gesturing, my family used to travel directly there before, and it took about a day and a half. In terms of strength, the strongest is the Duke of the Blood race with a high level of diamonds. Subei was a little surprised. I didn't expect to meet the Blood clan again here. Eudora continued, it's not the headquarters of the damned sect, but it's not far from it. It's a very important alchemy room. Subei nodded and asked, where are they holding the Advent ceremony? 35 Eudora replied truthfully, it should be. But my family is not good at various rituals, so I don't know much about it, and I am only responsible for transporting goods. 99 Garcia said in a loud voice. It's the same for my family. Subei is not surprised by this. There are many kinds of dark races, and their positioning is also different. Like the Blood clan, they are good at research, and most of the descending ceremony this time is their handwriting. Subei makes a decision. Ask for flowers. That alchemy room must be destroyed. Calculated from the distance, at the speed of the island. It will take 4 or 5 days. After inquiring about some details, Subei prepared to complete the cleanup and recovery before going to attack the island where the alchemy room of the cult of the damned was located. This is the Nuga's territory. Although they do not produce, they live by plundering and killing. But also accumulated considerable wealth. There are also titled giants, and their accumulation cannot be missed. Garcia and Eudora each led the tribe back to carry the supplies. On the island, the loot is recovered and cleaned up, and the wounded are treated. Time passed slowly. For the next 2 days, Subei realized what it means to be rich without windfall. In Nuga's warehouse, there are not many other things, just a lot of materials. After they finish hunting, they will put away the useful materials, and then find opportunities to hand them over to other dark races to make equipment. In addition, there are various deep-sea unique materials. Including deep-sea ice crystals, there are a full 20. There is nothing to say, send it directly to the forge. A deep-sea ice crystal is a large energy cannon. The dwarves brought back by Heslit last time, after the fixed and strengthened entries, have added 3 new diamond-level dwarves. The current island can realize the casting of 4 large energy cannons at the same time. As for medium-sized energy cannons and small-sized energy cannons, they were continuously installed on the fort. The number of energy cannons on the island is steadily advancing towards the number of 1,000, and it is estimated that it will be completed within this month. The next target is 2,000. Subei's initial idea is that each fortress island has 5 large energy cannons and 10 on the main island. With the new deep-sea ice crystals, the basis for realization is fully prepared. The forge is in full swing. The dwarves only felt that they were in the kingdom of God, and there was an endless supply of iron every day. They could make rare materials casually, and it didn't matter if the forging failed. New materials were arranged immediately. In return, the dwarves also built countless pieces of equipment, making huge profits for Subei. 2 days passed quietly. Subei looked at the newly built warehouses and was very happy. It's all money. At the same time of joy, Subei did not forget his business. Now, it's time to destroy the alchemy room of the cult of the damned and interrogate more information. Standing on the main island, Subei gave orders. Go, do. Chapter 321 has been completed. Overlooking the vast island, Subei was filled with emotion. This is the 5th month since he came to the island world. It has experienced storms, shark riots, dark tide murloc riots, black elves and wood elves wars, and now has conquered the Naga and the tidal giants. The strength of the individual has also risen from the original black iron lower level to the current platinum top level. The members of the island have grown from Duling and Zhuanmenaiyu in the beginning to a total of more than 20,000 members. The island covers an area of more than 400 square kilometers. All of this, if placed on the island owners who have been developing for decades, is quite reasonable. But Subei achieved this in 5 months. Whether he will be so ruthless in the future, I don't know. But push back 100 years, and no one has achieved what he did. Stay in the Nagasea area for 2 days and wait until the time to set off again. The fourth fortress has also been increased in size to accommodate all the Naga and tidal giants. In fact, the main question of 790 is the tidal giant. Even an ordinary tidal giant is about 4 meters in height. The higher the level, the bigger the body size. 2,000 tidal giants. The area occupied is enough to accommodate 20,000 evil shadow werewolves. This is the size gap. That is, the area of Subei's island is large enough, otherwise it really can't hold these big ones. I don't know if it was an illusion. Subei always felt that the waterline of the fourth fortress was deeper. Traveling is always boring. Starting from the Nagasea area, sailing to the alchemy room of the cursed sect, in 4 or 5 days, I basically did not encounter a decent battle. Fortunately, occasionally there will be demonized monsters who do not know whether to live or die to attack the island, adding a little happiness to life. But with the front line, Subei also discovered that these demonized monsters are getting uglier. Some don't even look like normal creatures can grow. It's a bit like a fusion of several creatures. This is apparently the product of the cult of the damned's experiments. Through these bizarre creatures, Subei also discovered some unusual places. On the torso of this demonized monster, even human limbs appeared, and there were still a lot of them. Subei called Eudora and asked how many dark races transported humans to that alchemy room. Eudora pondered for a moment, then replied, in terms of direction, there are 2 other forces, one of them is the Blood Clan, and the other is the Night Demon. 5. Subei took out the map. Where are the approximate locations of the Blood Clan and the Night Demons? When the alchemy room is settled, drop by the way to subdue them as well. Eudora chose the location of the alchemy room, then gestured to the east and south, and said, the east is the Blood Clan, and the south is the Night Demon. Subei nodded, knowing what to do. 2 days after departure, the enemy officially appeared. Obviously, the alchemy room smelled an unusual aura, and sent an army of 3,000 fusion monsters to kill it. Such an ugly creature, Subei naturally would not accept it. Directly order the attack and send them all to the sky with the energy cannon. The enemy's offensive continued for the next 2 days. Before and after, more than 100,000 fusion monsters were torn apart and became food for fish and shrimp. To be honest, Subei was shocked. What the hell is that alchemy room doing? So many fusion monsters are gathered together. Outrageous. However, Subei did not know that the Duke of Blood in the alchemy room was also having a headache at this time. He received news that the human island owner, Subei, who made the Black Elves suffer greatly, is coming towards him. To be honest, when he received the news, the Duke of Blood clan wanted to run away. He has diamond level strength. But so what? The Black Elf commander who was hacked to death at the beginning was a star-ranked star. Not so hard to die. And 2 more died. His mere diamond grade, Hida actually caught Subei's attention. With the collection of more information, the Duke of Blood clan knew the reason. It was because the news of the Advent ceremony was leaked. Although the Duke of Blood found the secret agent of the special team and tore it to pieces, the matter was irreversible. The location has been exposed and a solution must be found. There is no escape to escape. The Advent ceremony is not over yet, and if the ceremony is interrupted at this time, all previous efforts will be lost. Not only will all the captured containers be scrapped, but even those demon souls will be wiped out. The loss was too great, and the blood race could not bear the blame of other dark races. So it has to be delayed. Fortunately, the alchemy room has a wealth of experimental materials, plus the surrounding demonized monsters. The Duke of Blood created an army of fusion monsters and began to block Subei. Then it's all gone forever. Not to mention returning with the news of victory. Not even half of the defeated soldiers were seen. The Duke of Blood was even more panicked. At the most, he dispatched more than 20,000 fusion monsters. Has this all been wiped out? That Subei, how terrible he is. The Duke of the Blood race was worried for 2 days, and finally saw the outline of the island in the distance. At this time, the Duke of Blood was not panicking, and at the same time began to think about the retreat. True. He didn't flee without a fight, but after fighting bravely and fiercely, he forcibly made a bloody path. It's just because of strength issues that he can't beat the opponent. The choice to retreat is reasonable. Other dark races can't fault it either. The Blood race to Xabacus was jingling, but unfortunately he missed a bit. That's Subei's speed. As soon as the outline of the island appeared in the field of vision, the Blood race Duke felt the terrifying magic wave approaching rapidly. That power, both familiar and unfamiliar. It's the Naga Queen. But the essence of magic is fundamentally different from the previous one. 2. The supreme level? The Duke of Blood was dumbfounded. What's the situation? Even if the Naga Queen appeared with that human. She may have fallen for the enemy. There are evil shadow werewolves and black elves in front of the enemy, but it is not a big fuss. But for the supreme class, that's a whole different story. To be honest, it has been a long time since the supreme powerhouse appeared in the island world. Even the new king of the Black Elf, the unrivaled powerhouse, is only a top star. The Naga Queen was not as good as that one before. As a result, I haven't seen each other for a few days, and it turned out to be at the supreme level. The Duke of Blood couldn't help sighing. Long goes, old saying is true, as expected, Shibai should be treated with admiration for 3 days. At this point, the Duke of Blood clan knew that he couldn't escape. Fortunately, the Advent ceremony is about to be completed. Those humans with demon souls will let Subei know what cruelty is. In order to buy a little more time, the Blood clan Duke gathered up his courage and went out with a white flag. He was prepared to take advantage of the 2.5 capitulation and delay for a while. As soon as the Duke of Blood clan appeared, before he had time to speak, Subei fixed the entry with a snap. The Duke of Blood fell to his knees and cried bitterly, "My lord, I deserve to die. I let them speed up the descending ceremony." Subei was very calm, just gave the Duke of Blood clan 2 punches, and then asked, "How long until the ceremony is completed?" The Blood race Duke said with tears in his eyes, "It's done." Boom. On the island, demonic energy rose to the sky. After receiving the impact, the alchemy room that stretched for thousands of meters began to collapse. Among the ruins, more than 3,000 figures stood. They were once human. But at this time, his face was distorted, his forehead protruded sharply, and his skin turned dark red. What's more, there are fleshy wings on the back. Subei directly threw the Duke of Blood to the side, took off the dragon sword from his waist, and charged towards the devil. Chapter 322 The First Fight with the Devil. Subei didn't even care about the fault of the Duke of Blood. In fact, before the entry was fixed, he and Subei were hostile. The decision to speed up the Advent ceremony is understandable. But because of this, Subei discovered the problem of the Advent ceremony. Not to be disturbed in the slightest. In the ruins, apart from the more than 3,000 successfully demonized humans, the rest were all broken corpses. And very broken. There are at least tens of thousands of human beings here, but only more than 3,000 have successfully completed the descending ceremony. The impact of the acceleration of the ceremony is obvious. Whether this discovery is useful is currently unknown. After a short period of adaptation, the demons fluttered their wings into the air and charged towards Subei. "My lord, let me come." Eudora's voice sounded, and then the magic was activated. Thundercloud, storm. Above the devil's head, the clouds became dim, and thunder flashed at the same time, covering a diameter of more than 500 meters. The range of this skill obtained from the legendary entry is very exaggerated. With a loud bang, lightning 17 fell, splitting the devil under the thundercloud into powder. Subei's keen discovery. At the same time as the demon's body cracked, a pale black shadow broke away from the wreckage and tried to escape. However, it was quickly struck by new lightning and completely dissipated between heaven and earth. Subei bypassed the thundercloud storm area while taking note of the demon's weakness. Their souls are afraid of lightning. In other words, it is a positive energy. Of course, if you really want to kill demons, you have to look at the sacred skills. Subei stretched out his hand and wiped it on the long Ian saber, blessed by the sharp blade of divine light, and raising his hand was a gust of wind. Hundreds of demons were reduced to ashes in their wailing. As a demon slayer, he had previously obtained the skill of slaughtering demons in 100 battles from Decaya. Every attack of Subei can cause unimaginable damage to Majin. Just relying on these silver and gold level demons is really not enough. But Subei is not optimistic, but has a solemn expression. Ordinary people can soar to the gold level after completing the descending ceremony, and the last time they have the silver level. Then, the container is replaced by a power user, or the aborigines and the dark race. Even further, the devil descended directly. What will their strength reach? Subei felt the need to re-evaluate the hazards of the abyssal passage. You must know that even for a strong clan like a mermaid, the standard of the patrol team is only silver. The gold level is the deputy commander of the patrol team. Here, there are more than 3,000 devils. As you can imagine. Once the number of demons floods, the strong family will be overwhelmed. As for those weak clans, they couldn't reach it at all. Fortunately, Subei used the entry to subdue the Duke of Blood, and when the battle here is over, he can ask about the details of the descending ceremony. Now, let's end the battle first. While thinking, Eudora threw out the thundercloud storm again. With the blessing of 3 legendary entries, Eudora's strength is so strong that Subei needs to be cautious. Gold level demons are all dead when they touch it. In addition to the thundercloud storm, other thunder skills, Eudora is also at your fingertips, and has achieved rich results. Subei and Eudora were stunned to intercept the 3,000 demons, but did not let half of them escape. The fight was over in 2 minutes. The devil did not surrender, and all became ashes all over the ground. And Subei also found another problem. These human beings occupied by demon souls cannot refresh their entries. Good and evil are of the same origin. They are all ethnic groups in the island world, not including demons. A flash of enlightenment flashed in Subei's heart. The problem is that the system also regards the devil as a mortal enemy, and there is absolutely no possibility of reconciliation. Or do you need other mythical entries to unlock? Subei felt that the mortal enemy was more likely. Restraining his mind, Subei landed on the island with Eudora. This place is in ruins. The previous demonic energy erupted, triggering a chain reaction, causing all the buildings to collapse. The related equipment is not saved. And what's more serious is that the members of the curse sect on the island have all died from the erosion of demonic energy, and no more information can be obtained. The only survivor now is the Duke of Blood. Subei checked the situation and found that there was no value to explore. Simply return to the main island with Eudora and the Duke of Blood. Then stop the spirit of the island. That island was completely eroded by demonic energy, and it would even be counterattacked if it was approached rashly. On the main island, Subei looked at the Duke of Blood and calmed down. The Duke of Blood was extremely ashamed. He caused so much trouble to his master that he really had no face to live. Subei pondered for a moment and asked, "Tell me about the effects and points of attention of the descending ceremony." The Duke of Blood clan replied respectfully, "My lord, the present descending ceremony is the first stage, which can only be descended with ordinary humans as containers. The follow-up plan is to expand the goal and bring all the abilities, island owners, aborigines and dark races together." "Cover it?" Subei asked. "Why ordinary human beings, and what is the success rate of the ritual?" The Duke of Blood race replied, "Because now the repressive force of the island world is still there, the resistance of the container will be strengthened. Ordinary humans have no power to contain the soul of a demon. As for the success rate, even if there is no external interference, it is only 100% of 30. Subei probably understood. This is picking soft persimmons. But the Duke of Blood also said that this is only the first stage of the Advent ceremony. When they accumulate enough data, sooner or later they will develop the second or third stage of the Advent ceremony. In the end, the abyss passage was opened, and the devil came directly. Taking a breath, Subei asked, Has the experimental data leaked? The Duke of Blood lowered his head and said ashamedly, "The latest data has been sent, and the next step of research is about to begin. This is to be expected, and blaming the Duke of Blood is of no avail. Even hacking him to death wouldn't change anything. It's better to use it for yourself, and kill a few more demons in the future." Sube asked, "There are 790 alchemy rooms like this. How many are the cursed sects, and how many are there on the dark side?" The Duke of Blood pondered for a moment, then replied, "If the cursed sect is to be called, there are 3 in total, and 2 of them are far away from here. It will take at least half a year to bring the island to the past. As for the dark race, it's not very clear. There must be a lot anyway." The Duke of the Blood clan gave an example. "For example, our clan has 2 related alchemy rooms, ready to combine blood servants and demon souls to create a new legion." Sube nodded, getting a general understanding of the situation. To sum it up in 2 words: urgent. The dark race is intensively conducting research on the Advent ritual. Judging from the alchemy room here, it has basically been completed. To be honest, if it weren't for the arrival of Sube, which accelerated the ceremony of coming here, the number of surviving demons would be more than 3,000. These most basic demons can compete with mermaid patrols, which is very tricky. When the dark race develops a stronger descending ceremony and uses the vassal as a container, the strength of the devil will increase. Sube waved his hand, motioned for the Duke of Blood to stand by, and then called over the strong men of all ethnic groups. After explaining the situation, everyone looked solemn. They did not participate in the previous battle. Because Sube and Eudora rushed too fast. But now, they also realize the seriousness of the problem. The most basic demons are so fierce, how can they fight in the future? Chapter 323 Deep Cooperation. In the conference room, the atmosphere is very solemn. Even a diamond-level powerhouse like Winnie was quite troubled. The lowest basic level of the devil is silver, which is not good news. This means that even a strong family like a mermaid needs to be treated with caution, otherwise it is very likely that they will lose directly. Most importantly, the quantitative gap. Mermaids have many tribes, living in different parts of the island world. The number of each tribe ranges from 7 to 8,000 to as many as 20,000. Looks like a lot. However, after removing those non-combatants, half of the soldiers could be considered an extremely high proportion. On the other hand, as long as the number of containers is large enough, no matter how low the success rate of the ceremony is, it can also pull up an exaggerated army. And they replenish their combat power quickly. Just keep going. As for the container issue, don't worry when done. Some island owners are willing to transport ordinary people from Blue Star. In the war of attrition, the indigenous people will definitely suffer. But you can't stop fighting. Winnie said. Fortunately, the island owner persuaded the queen's entire family to move to the Wood Elves, otherwise it would be difficult to resist the mermaid's strength alone when the demons start to wreak havoc. 35 The other mermaids nodded in agreement, paying tribute to Sube. This is called planning ahead. Sube waved his hand, saying that he shouldn't say these things. Heshlet said, "Islander, I want to send a message to the clan to prepare them." Sube nodded, "I'm going to spread the news, and the dwarves will also send a message over there." "Thank you, Hezalin." Helenus said, "Islander, what should we do next?" Everyone looked at Sube. Sube pondered for a moment, then said, "First go to the nearest Blood clan base, destroy the alchemy room there, and then return directly to the Wood Elf territory to build a defense line. 5 This war cannot be ended by ourselves, we must unite our allies. All facilities need sincere cooperation to speed up the progress. The strengthening work of the Naga and the Tide Giants, I hope to see the results as soon as possible. 5 Now, disband. Everyone got up one after another and saluted and left. Sube contacted Shen Kingling and sent the newly learned information to the past. After a few minutes of silence, Shen Kingling replied, "If this is the case, then the situation is very critical." Sube, yeah. The effect of the Advent ceremony completely exceeded expectations. The minimum level is silver. This is not a joke. Shen Kingling, I estimate that in a week at the latest, the demons will launch an offensive, consuming the strength of the Aborigines first. Sube, is there a way to slow down the transfer speed of ordinary people, such as poking things out? Shen Kingling, I'm afraid the results will not be optimistic. Over the years, the forces of the Lighthouse Nation have never stopped smearing us. Even if we spread the news, ordinary people over there may not believe it. 99 Shen Kingling, even the Lighthouse Kingdom will use the theme to say that the devil is a biological weapon developed by us. 35 Sube, this is indeed a problem. Let's do our best. We can't just watch the number of demons increase, then our pressure will be too great. 35 Shen Kingling, it's natural, although it can't be completely eliminated, it's still effective. Shen Kingling, there is another matter, the special team wants to cooperate with you. Sube, aren't we already working together? Shen Kingling, it's me who can't express it correctly, it's about further cooperation. In short, we provide you with Aborigines, and you train them into potions and magic weave masters. Shen Kingling, you don't need to send it back after the training is successful, it will stay on your island, but we will need 2/3 of the potions and magic pattern scrolls they produce. We will provide the raw materials. Sube thought about it for a while, and replied truthfully, the cultivation of potions and magic weave masters depends on talent, and I can't completely guarantee it. And there is basically no hope for the weak. Shen Kingling, we know this, we provide half-dragon people. Sube was startled. It turned out to be a half-dragon. This is the offspring of the dragon clan and foreign clan mixed, with part of the blood of the dragon clan, and the overall image is actually somewhat similar to the lizard people. But the attributes are stronger. The most important thing is that they have inherited the magic talent of the dragon family and have innate advantages. Thinking of the 3 hellfire dragon eggs sent by the special team before, Sube has reason to believe that there is a connection between the special team and the dragon. Even these half-dragon people are descendants of dragons and humans. After all, the dragon clan is notorious for not avoiding meat and vegetarian food, not even the deep-sea giant crocodiles. Humans are no exception. Sube didn't want to pursue the details here. This cooperation, he obviously made a profit. The half-dragons sent by the special affairs team have the advantage of talent, and the probability of appearing potions and magic patterns will not be lower than that of mermaids and elves. Although the output should be given to the special task force by 2/3. But the raw materials are all given by the special affairs team. Sube made a third for nothing. In the case of the upcoming war with the devil, such cooperation is undoubtedly a win-win situation. Sube replied decisively, there is no problem with cooperation. How many half-dragon people can you provide? Shen Kingling, 4,000, the minimum is silver. Sube, as expected of the special task force, the shot is generous. When will it be in place? 99 Shen Kingling. 2 hours. Sube, when you're ready to contact me, I'll make room first. By the way, how big are these half-dragons? Shen Kingling sent a few photos over. It also confirmed Sube's guess. These half-dragon people are the descendants of dragons and humans. The overall image is more human-shaped, with a female height of about 1.8 meters and a male height of 2 meters. Most of these are the second generation or even the third generation of half-dragon people. The reason for this is probably also to facilitate control. A generation of half-dragon people are influenced by the blood of the dragon family, and their temperament is irritable, and they will act whenever they disagree. This obviously does not meet the interests of the special task force. Dilute it for another generation or two, and it is the current half-dragon man. Talented and communicative. Turning off the chat bar, Sube notified Helena and Eve to start expanding the alchemy room and drawing room. There are 4,000 and a half-dragon people. Even if the probability is low, it is still simple to cultivate hundreds of apprentices with magical medicine and magic patterns. Their output, Sube draws 1/3, is not a small number either. Besides, except for the potionist and the magic danuos, tattoo artist, the remaining half-dragon people, Shen Kingling, did not say that they would go back. Those were the combat units sent to Sube by the special task force. 4,000 and a half-dragon people, Think about it with joy. But here comes the problem. Which fortress should these half-dragons be arranged in? The 4th and 6th fortresses are definitely not acceptable. They are the activity areas of the dark race. Half-dragons can also be counted as aborigines. In the end, Sube decided to place the half-dragons in the 5th fortress. There is the location of the Wood Elf Sky Guard, and even if there are Taurens stationed there, there is still a lot of free space. 2 hours later, 4 and a half-dragons were teleported to Sube Island. First refresh the entry to find a suitable apprentice. It has to be said that the half-dragon man's magical talent is indeed very strong. In this first round of refreshes alone, there were more than 20 potion apprentices and 10 magic pattern apprentice donkeys. Sube fixed the entry directly and sent it to the alchemy room and the drawing room. The remaining half-dragons go to the 5th fortress and wait for the subsequent refresh. Chapter 324, The Chaotic Situation. Arriving at the Blood Race Islands, the arrival of the half-dragon people has improved the overall strength of the island again. Especially potion apprentices and magic pattern apprentices. They will be able to produce results soon after immersing themselves in training. Shen Qingling was also very happy about this news. The special team even gave a generous amount of money and directly sent 2 containers of supernatural fruit. These are all used to configure power potions. At the same time, the special team also asked Shen Qingling to convey the message. The materials are used casually, and it is not enough to just say. Sube also understands the deep-pocketed action of the special team. The threat of the devil is about to break out, and the special team needs to improve their strength as quickly as possible to deal with more severe challenges. Sube believes that in addition to him, the special team has also invested in other island owners. If the raw materials cannot be converted into actual combat power, there is no point in piling them up. Of course, there will be a lot of loss in the process. But it's better than the tragedy that the material is still missing. For the trust of the special team, Sube also responded by directly sending the past 3 boxes of magical potions. And they are all gold grade. Sube travels to the Vampire Islands while working with the special team. According to information provided by the Duke of Blood. 793 There are more than a dozen islands adjacent to each other in a place that is 7 days away from the alchemy room. There is the base of the Blood Clan. Of course not all Blood Clans, but a branch. Prince Jerome and his bloodline descendants. The Duke of Blood that Sube conquered was the direct descendant of Prince Jerome. And Prince Jerome is a star-studded middle-level powerhouse. Sube estimated that even if the 3 entries continued, it would not be able to be promoted to the supreme level. However, it is also good to be able to add a top-level general of Xinyao. The island rode the wind and waves and moved forward in a straight line, encountering more than a dozen obstacles. Clearly, Prince Jerome had received the news. Sube is not in a hurry, and moves forward while developing the island. After several days of refreshes, a total of 150 potion apprentices and 70 magic pattern apprentices were selected among the half-dragon people. Sube was a little surprised by this amount. It can only be said that the bloodline of the dragon family is indeed powerful, and after 2 or 3 generations of dilution, the half-dragon people still have outstanding talents. These half-dragon apprentices, after rapid training, have already begun to produce output. Although it is only a first-order magic pattern scroll or a black iron bronze level power potion, BHCF, this is a good start. In addition, on the 6th fortress, Sube also established an alchemy room and a drawing room. The newly added 10,000 naga still have many seated players. It is worth mentioning that when the dark race in the 6th fortress established the alchemy room, the Duke of Blood race gave a lot of valuable advice. After all, he has presided over the Advent ceremony and has very rich experience. Sube simply put the Duke of Blood in charge of the new alchemy room. That's called making the most of it. And the Duke of Blood clan did not disappoint Sube, using the information in his head to launch several potions. They are all types that can inflict devastating blows on the enemy. Especially for the demons who have performed the descending ceremony, it can directly act on their souls, reducing their fusion degree and weakening their strength. It is not surprising that there are such results. After all, the Duke of Blood has been tinkering with the island for several years and has been studying the Advent ceremony. Although there has only been real progress recently, The first batch of demons has been manufactured. But there is a lot of data accumulated. A solution was quickly found. Sube was overjoyed when he heard the news, and decisively asked the Duke of Blood to continue his research, so as to be completely harmless to himself. At the same time, let him cooperate with the forging workshop to develop related cluster bombs. In the follow-up battle, when meeting the demon, first give the demon a potion baptism, and the pressure will be much less. However, it was not all good news for Sube. Shen Qingling sent him the latest battle situation. The demons have already started to attack the aborigines and island owners, causing heavy casualties. On the other hand, Blue Star's food crisis has not only not been contained, but has even become more chaotic. And it is not limited to food, and now clean water and energy are beginning to be in short supply. The resulting local wars continued, and the number of refugees rose sharply. There are at least 1 million ordinary people who have been transferred to the island world in the past month. Forget the death part. For example, it was eaten by the dark race as food. At least 400,000 ordinary people were sent to the altar for the descending ceremony. And this number will continue to increase. No matter how low the success rate of the descending ceremony is, a considerable number of demons will be created. The current turmoil is just the beginning. When Sube heard the news, he was also quite helpless. Blue Star's situation is unsolvable. It is easier to create unrest than to maintain stability. The only thing that is fortunate is that according to the data provided by the Duke of Blood, it is not easy for the demons transformed from ordinary people to upgrade. It can even be said that there is no room for improvement. What level they are after they come, then it is very likely that they will still be that level when they die. This has been a fortune and misfortune. If the basic level of the devil is high and the upgrade speed is fast, then it is really impossible to fight. All kinds of news came continuously, and at the same time, with the continuous offensive, Sube arrived at the archipelago where the Blood Clan was located. The good news is that Prince Jerome is still there, and Sube has the opportunity to take him under his command and add another general. The bad news is that the devil is there too, and the number exceeds 20,000. In the hour, the devil impatiently launched a charge. They have an unquenchable thirst for flesh and blood. The dark race cannot be included in the recipe of the devil due to the relationship of the devil. Demons prefer aboriginals and humans. And of these two, Sube's island is not lacking at all. Naturally, the devil couldn't hold back, and he threw off the Blood Clan fleet and rushed over. They are winged and fly much faster than warships. The battle starts immediately. At the same time as the energy cannon roared, a large number of cluster bombs were thrown into the air, and then exploded in the air. The demons laughed. Is this a fireworks display to welcome them? But the devil's laughter didn't last long. Soon, they knew why the bombs had detonated prematurely. The powder floating in the air gave them splitting headaches and various discomfort reactions. They couldn't even maintain their flying posture and fell directly into the sea. Sube sent a reward to the Duke of Blood, and then issued an order. Full speed ahead, crush the enemy. 35 With an order, the island began to accelerate. The sky guard of the Wood Elves and the half-dragon took off to meet them, beheading the weak devil. Wood Elves still need the help of hippogriffs to fly, while half-dragons can fly directly. The wings on the half-dragon man's back are strong and powerful, and a slight flap can turn them into sharp arrows and dance in the sky. Under the sea, the Naga and the tidal giants drifted with the current, dragging the drowning devil into the deep sea and shredding them. Then rushed to the Blood Clan fleet, jumped on the deck, and fought with the Blood Clan. Most of them crossed the fleet and headed towards the Blood Race Islands. When the distance was close enough, the Marines began to land on the Blood Clan Island, and the fighting intensity increased again. Chapter 325 Prince Jerome is up. Prince Jerome is lying flat. In the deepest part of the Blood Clan archipelago, in the vast blood pool, a gorgeous metal coffin was floating up. Inside was Prince Jerome. The Blood Clan is not active in the outside world all the time. Sleeping in the blood pool can prolong life and improve strength at the same time, which is the favorite leisure activity of most Blood Clans. But not all sleep, otherwise who will handle the affairs? The solution for the Blood Clan is to take turns sleeping. For example, the Blood Clan Duke that Sube conquered, He was in charge of the alchemy room of the damned sect for the past 10 years. Then I met Sube and was directly harvested as a horse. In fact, before that, Prince Jerome was already half awake, intercepting Sube's order, which he conveyed. But it didn't work. Instead, Sube killed him all the way. In this way, Prince Jerome must be completely awake. The deep and vast magical fluctuations also swept outward. The blood race juniors around the blood pool were flushed with excitement. Prince Jerome will lead them to defeat the enemy completely. This is beyond doubt. In the unpleasant harsh metal friction sound, the burly and tall figure stood up from the coffin. Prince Jerome was shrouded in a luxurious cloak, and his eyes were cold. After tearing up 2 juniors as food rations, Prince Jerome invited the housekeeper to inquire about the situation. After learning that 5 islands had been breached, Prince Jerome's forehead burst with blue veins, and a knife pierced the butler's core. "Trash, it's all trash!" Prince Jerome yelled in rage. His body turned into a black shadow, and he smashed through the ceiling and flew out. He wants to let the intruding enemy know what cruelty is. After a long hibernation, he is no longer the Xinyao Intermediate, but the Xinyao Senior. However, Prince Jerome obviously underestimated the speed of change in the outside world. As soon as he woke up from the blood pool, Sube locked his position and killed him directly with Eudora. Along the way, blood servants continued to attack, and they were all beaten to ashes by Eudora. Blood servants are irrational monsters, usually blood-tainted vassals of the dark race of blood, and created monsters that only know how to kill. They have a body that does not know pain, and a fighting spirit that is not afraid of death. At the same time, with the help of the blood race, he broke through his own limits. It is an important part of the Blood Clan troops. 90% of the fighting troops of the Blood Clan are blood servants, and the rest are the Blood Clan in charge of commanding. So is the archipelago. According to the Duke of Blood Clan, the real Blood Clan is actually about 10,000 people. The remaining more than 100,000 were all blood servants. In addition, due to the particularity of the Blood Clan being of the same origin, as long as Prince Jerome is subdued, the Blood Clan below can only surrender. It's just that Prince Jerome's breath was a little erratic before, and Sube couldn't completely lock his position, so he could only wait. Now that Prince Jerome woke up and jumped out of his own accord, Sube would not wait any longer and killed him directly. Soon, Sube saw Prince Jerome flying in midair. This tall vampire has a pale face, but he is still handsome. Hundreds of meters behind him are other blood races who follow the flight. They are about to blast the magic core, but they still can't keep up with Prince Jerome's speed. And this also gave the Blood Clan full confidence. As expected of a prince, too strong. It's just that the blood race is a little too early to be happy. Prince Jerome flew over, and was kicked back to the ground by Sube. But Sube was also surprised. Prince Jerome was actually promoted to the senior level of Xinyao, which is really a pleasant surprise. Prince Jerome, who had smashed a big hole on the ground, jumped up, burying his fangs. Immediately afterwards, he was hit by a lightning bolt from Eudora. His body was charred black, and he was lying in the pit unable to move. Jerome let out a breath of black smoke and said intermittently, Eudora, although your appearance has changed, I recognize your breath." 5. The more Jerome spoke, the more agile he complained, "You actually took refuge in humans. Where has your glory as a Naga queen gone?" But, soon, Jerome's words came to an abrupt end. He found a serious problem. Eudora's breath seemed to be completely different from before. 2. The supreme level? Jerome's eyes stared like copper bells, and his expression turned desperate. Being kicked away by Sube is nothing. It was nothing to be blackened by Eudora's lightning bolt. Jerome was confident that he would have the last laugh. But after finding out that Eudora had been promoted to the supreme level, Jerome knew that he was finished. 10 of him add up, and he is not Eudora's opponent. Jerome lay in the pit and said sullenly, "Go ahead, I can't beat you." Eudora asked, "Jerome, do you want to have this power?" 99 Jerome, who had closed his eyes and waited to die, immediately opened his eyes and asked, "Is that okay?" 55 Sube was dumbfounded. Is this Jerome really the Blood Prince? Check the panel properties again and again, It is true. This is so spineless. Eudora explained, my lord, the lifespan of the supreme class is at least 5 times higher than that of the Xinyao class, and the blood clan is the dark clan that attaches the most importance to lifespan. 5 middle. 4. Flowers middle. Sube was taken aback. I see. That makes sense. Jerome got up from the pit, looked at Sube, and said, can you help me advance to the supreme rank? Sube smiled. He found that conquering the blood clan might not be as difficult as he thought. Whether it can be done depends on your luck. As Sube spoke, he refreshed Jerome's entry. Not surprisingly, an orange light appeared. Original blood control, legendary level, has absolute control over the same bloodline blood family. This entry made Sube very satisfied. As long as Jerome doesn't die, his blood family will not rebel at all. Even the ring of dominance was omitted. Fixed. Ding. The entry has been fixed. The target loyalty is constant at 1001. Jerome's body shook, and he half-kneeled directly towards Sube. See, my lord. 99. At the same time, the invisible fluctuations also spread to the entire blood clan archipelago. Under the influence of Jerome, the fighting vampires surrendered directly on the spot. The vampires who originally followed Jerome were still in shock, and the next second they all fell to their knees and saluted respectfully. The effect of origin blood control is something they cannot resist. In fact, even without the control of the original blood, Jerome's order, these blood races can't resist. Active blood controls the entry, it is more secure. On the Vampire Islands, the fighting began to subside. All the blood clan surrendered, and the blood servants they controlled would naturally not resist. However, there were also some who lost their minds and only knew how to kill, and they were killed on the spot by the island combat troops. Sube looked at Jerome and said, gather the vampires. 99. Jerome complied, opening his mouth and screaming. A large number of blood races flew from afar, and stood respectfully and solemnly in the distance. Afterwards, Jerome rubbed his hands together and said expectantly, my lord, about promotion. Sube didn't want Jerome's appetite, and continued to refresh. Tide of blood, legendary, get the tide of blood skill. Demon blood plague, legendary, making blood spells with plague poisonous effect. 2 legendary entries are fixed directly. Jerome's breath began to rise, and finally, like Eudora, he was promoted to the supreme level. Jerome screamed with ecstasy, it's increasing, I feel the lifespan is increasing. Sube was speechless. Eudora was promoted to the supreme level, and the first thing she cared about was the strength of magic. As a result, Jerome actually cares about lifespan first. How to say. As expected of a bloodline. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.